About Tulsa, people making a difference in the Tulsa community. Special guest interviews, spotlighting local businesses to covering important issues within the community no one else is talking about. The hot topics and more. Ladies and gentlemen, this is World One Development's News You Can Use with your hosts, Mr. Charles Harper and Miss Damali Wilson.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to World One Development's News You Can Use. We want to thank everyone for either listening on the radio, watching us on Facebook Live, and on www.KBOB899.com, or tuning into any of the News You Can Use media networks, which are powered by World One Development. We really appreciate that. I am your hostess with the mostest, Miss Damali Wilson.
And I'm Charles Harper. It's Wednesday, a.k.a. Hump Day, September 11th, 2024. And we are live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. right here on KBOB 89.9 FM and simulcast on the News You Can Use media network, powered by World One Development. We are set for an exciting show, you guys. You better call your mom and them and tell them. You can dial in at 918-856-3873 or post your comments on our Facebook Live feed at World One Development.
So today, on today's show is the medical report with Dr. Andre Perdue. Our topic today is going to be health and wealth and how the two go together.
Yep. We'll also discuss the state of Black America as it relates to wealth and economics.
And of course, our Hump Day hot topics, which are the mayoral recount update, the Miami Dolphins star receiver Tyreek Hill's detainment by Miami-Dade Police Department, and Harris versus Trump debate results, birthdays, and more.
Yeah, that was a big one. This is News You Can Use right here on KBOB 89.9 FM and simulcast on the News You Can Use media network, powered by World One Development. We'll be right back, you guys.
EduRec is a youth and family fun center located at 5424 North Madison Avenue in Tulsa, Oklahoma. At EduRec, we offer a host of activities for children and families of the Tulsa community at little to no cost. To find out about the many programs, activities, and services offered at EduRec, please visit our website, www.edurectulsa.com, or just give us a call at 918-430-3947.
Fitting Back In is a reintegration program designed to help those released from prison to fit back into the community as productive, valuable members of society. They help schedule various classes such as anger management, substance abuse, and mental health. They also work with different programs in the community to provide job training. If you or someone you know needs help with resources in career development, employment, or housing, to find out more information, call 918-592-3500 or stop by 2121 North Harvard Avenue, Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m.
The 36th Street North Event Center is a full-scale event center where we share the experiences of the community. At the event center, you can rent space for weddings, birthday parties, receptions, concerts, Greek events, quinceañeras, and much more. We also do custom decor, linen, and centerpieces. We're located at 1125 East 36th Street North. To book your next special event, business gathering, or community event, call us at 918-200-9046.
This is news you can use right here on KBOB 89.9 FM and simulcast on the News You Can Use Media Network, powered by World One Development.
And we are back. So News You Can Use is all about shedding some light on the positive happenings in our community. There are many great businesses, programs, and events in our neighborhood, and we felt the community needed to hear about those things. One, so we can support, and two, so we can be informed.
What's going on, family? I'm Charles Harper, Chief Executive Officer of World One Development, which includes Fitting Back In, EduRec Youth and Family Fun Center, and 36th Street North Event Center. My job, because the world wants to know, is to provide leadership for all aspects of World One Development, with the emphasis on long-term goals, growth, profits, and a return on that investment. I am so excited and I am so elated to be one of the creators of this phenomenal show.
And I'm Damali Wilson, Chief Operating Officer for World One Development. And my job is designing and implementing business operations and establishing policies that promote company culture and vision. I am also in charge of social media for all of the World One Development entities. If you would like to advertise your business or organization on this show or any of our other individual platforms, please inbox me your contact information on Facebook Messenger so we can talk. I'm also happy and elated to be one of the creators of this phenomenal show.
Damali, what's up? Happy Hump Day. How you doing?
I am doing well. You know, I'm digging this weather.
Man, this weather is off the chain. I'm glad the weather is good because I can tell you right now, I have had a very busy morning.
You have?
Let me tell you people something. If y'all said any more meetings with me on a Wednesday morning,
it's not good.
I'm not going to show up.
Right.
I'm just telling you, right, I'm just not going to show up. Normally on Wednesday, I don't know about you, Damali, just in preparation for what we do, it's better for me just to keep my slate just clear.
Yep.
I don't want to get into no big conversations.
Right.
I don't want to get into who want to debate early in the morning?
Nobody.
You got to do like Kamala and President Trump. You got to debate late at night.
Right.
Or something. But anyway, it's a beautiful day, Tulsa, man. There's a lot of people out and about, and I understand why, because like Damali said, the weather is amazing.
Yes, this is my time of year. This is my time to shine.
Is it still summertime, or have we switched into fall already?
Well, it's not technically fall, but we're falling into it.
We got that fall-ish weather.
There you go.
And I'm digging. I even got a suit coat on. I'm not even sweating up in this bag.
Okay. You're doing good.
I tell you what, man, the buzz is going on in the city, not just local, national, international. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in, because we're finna get into some good stuff today. You might just want to click share on your video right now. Don't even wait, because you don't want to miss not one part, one segment, one word, not this show today.
Not today. Hey, Uncle Brian is saying he wants it warmer. Just wait. I already saw the news last night, and it's going to get warmer.
If you haven't been out since noon, it's warmer right now. I mean, it didn't warm up a little bit.
It was this morning. Yeah, that's true. That is true. It's
probably perfect, Uncle Brian. You know how black people do. Stick your big toe outside. Just stick your big toe out there. It probably feels a little bit better.
Right. So what we want to do is, before we get started, we want to send out prayers to the family, friends, and fans of this is one of my favorites. This really broke my heart. Actor James Earl Jones.
Yes.
He passed away on Monday at the age of 93. One of my favorite movies is The Lion King. First of all, he's got so many movies. You remember Claudine? I remember that going to Apache Drive-In out north back in the day when we were little kids. But just so many, Star Wars and, Coming to America, Field of Dreams, just all of those movies. But my favorite is The Lion King.
The Lion King. I gotta say, my favorite is Coming to America.
Yes.
I'm just saying, when he came to America,
he was not.
He had the big lion head on the
his shoulder.
suit
Yeah.
with the gold. They had, the sisters had to put
So
the
the
rose
rose-
petals out.
Yeah.
I said, this brother's out here walking.
He's not a gang.
Remember when he walked into, now see, your young people don't know.
Y'all
Just
don't know
oblige
nothing about
us for a minute. McDowell's.
Okay.
See, long before McDonald's, we had
There was
McDowell's. And if you was in McDowell's, you had to have a Jerry curl
Right.
dripping in the back.
Exactly.
With some of that
I love it.
moisturizer on it.
Yeah.
But coming to America, in my mind, it painted us in such a different light.
Absolutely.
Royalty,
Mhm.
yet humbleness, yet trying to be down to earth.
Mhm.
Because Hakeem
Yeah.
had that little ducktail
I
in
know,
the back.
right?
He was trying to be normal. He was trying to find his love. So anyway, this is a big one. Star Wars is a big one with him
Man,
too. Darth Vader,
huge.
that voice.
You know what I always said? I always thought that he should be the person that reads the Bible. You know how you
I
have
know,
that Bible, and it's like, why is the voice so boring? It makes me want to go to sleep.
It was kind of like
But he needs to
him
do it.
or Morgan Freeman. It's kind of like
Yes,
him or Morgan
be
Freeman,
good.
like read the Bible so I can get the word.
Yes,
You know,
yes,
but I'm telling you, he's a giant
man.
that we are definitely going to miss
From
his
Broadway to the big screen.
presence. But thank God we can always turn on the TV.
Yep.
And we can go back and relive. That's the beauty of
Yeah.
being on TV.
Yeah.
Is we can go back and see that. So, man,
Yeah.
prayers for our community, man. That's a
Yes.
tough one.
So, and we also want to send out prayers to the family, friends, and fans of legendary singer. This one also broke my heart too, Frankie Beverly. I don't have no words.
I'm like, how is life even going to go on?
Man.
I seen it early this morning. I think I sent it to Uncle Bobby. I think, this is his partner.
Yeah.
So I think I even beat him to it. Not beat him to it like that, but I saw it early. I had to sit there for a minute.
Man.
Y'all hear the music playing, man. I mean, what is life? What is a festival? What is a family
festival
reunion?
season? What are we gonna do?
What is
Festival season.
anything
Oh,
without
my God.
He
Frankie
recently
Beverly.
retired too.
Yeah, he
about
did.
a year or so ago.
right?
His voice, it started with his voice, and I'm not sure if he was dealing with a lot, but he stepped back and they have a new singer, and he
Mhm.
embraced the new singer.
Right.
It's just gonna be tough losing Frankie Beverly because he's got a one of a kind voice.
Yeah, so
Man.
he was 77 years old. I didn't say James Earl Jones was 93.
93 years
Yeah,
young.
so they
wow.
lived some very good lives,
Right.
93.
strong lives. Yeah, 93 years old.
And what they did, they gave us something that we're gonna, because like his movies are timeless.
Yes.
Frankie Beverly makes his songs
Music,
and his
yeah.
voice is timeless.
Yes.
So the one beautiful thing about them, they will forever be with us
That's right.
and our next generation and our
That's
next generation and our next generation.
That's
But
right.
it still hurts that they have went on
Yeah, artistry of greatness,
to be with the Lord, man.
Yes.
So I just want to say, especially for our seasoned veterans out there.
Uncle Brian said he had throat cancer.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
had heard about that.
I didn't
So,
know that.
It
Damali,
affected his singing. He couldn't sing
Yeah.
anymore like he used to. So
That's
we-
unfortunate.
We'll send some extra prayers out for our seasoned people out there.
Yes,
Because
absolutely.
it's the people that they grew up with them.
Yes.
They grew up with the music. I can only, we came a little later.
Right.
And we thought we came out with
I
we
know,
was getting
right?
like 40.
Hey,
And our
yeah.
parents used to be like, y'all don't know nothing about that. Get out of my way. Let me do my thing. So, gonna love them,
Yes.
miss them, man. Our community is hit by these two.
So, and then we also want to send out prayers because, as you guys know, today is September 11th.
Right.
And one of the worst terror attacks on U.S. soil took place in 2001
Right.
on September 11th. And we want to take a moment to remember the 2,977 victims who lost their lives in 2001 and the 2,750 people who were killed in New York. More than 400 police officers and firefighters were killed during that, when the towers came down. I'm sure that everybody remembers
Right.
where they were. This is one of those times in history where you remember where you were and what you were doing. I can remember being at my law office,
Right.
and somebody said, and I was actually working at the tower downtown that resembles the World Trade Center, right? And so we're in the building, and somebody said a plane just hit the World Trade, and I'm like, what? What are they doing? Why are they? But you don't think that. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
going on,
Right. And so, we go in, me and the other secretary, we go in, we turn on the TV, and literally we were glued there. Like literally we stood there for hours and we were crying, like literally just in tears. And then our boss, Sharon Corbett, rest her soul, she's gone now. She came in and she was like, what are you guys looking at? And we told her what happened. She then became glued to the TV. And when the towers went down, the first tower went down, I mean, we were just hysterical. So I will never forget that as long as I live about, how it happened. Do you remember where you were when that happened?
I can tell y'all right now, that's the one day that the world stood still.
It absolutely did.
Not just in America, but the world stood still.
Yeah.
Yes, I was working at the LE Raider Center.
Yeah.
I was a social worker, and I was in my office, and everybody was just eerily looking at the TV. And I'm like, what movie?
Yeah.
Is what I thought, or they watching.
Exactly.
So when I come out, nobody even says anything.
No.
I'm looking, I'm like, man, what movie is y'all watching? And somebody looked at us like, man, this is happening in New York. I couldn't comprehend what they were saying. And right when I was saying that, the first building went down.
Yeah.
So I still can't really connect. So I'm like, I know y'all not saying that they have ran a plane in to this World Trade Center and that this building has crashed down with people in it.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, this is, in my mind, is when first responders became superheroes.
Exactly.
In my mind, because when I'm watching these videos and I'm watching, I know the building is burning and everybody's running from it. And I watch all these first responders running into the building. Yeah. And even when the first building fell down, they were still running into building number 2, knowing, okay, when I go in, I'm probably not coming out of this thing. And then all of the phone calls, and that was tough, because they had recordings of people that in the World Trade Center calling their loved ones saying this people. So it was a very historical day. I get emotional thinking about it right now.
I know, I got chills.
So if you're on the live, where were you? Where were you when this happened, 9/11? Because, man, that was a extremely tough day. So we definitely, here at KBOB, World One Development News, you can use Charles and Damali and DJ JB Smooth. Just want to pause and just say, man, our hearts are forever. So firemen, all first responders and people in the building, New Yorkers and anybody else, man, our heart goes out to y'all. And we remember that. Nobody is forgotten when it comes down to 9/11. JB Smooth, where were you at? Where were you at, man?
I was across town getting ready to go on the air, man. Just came in that morning getting ready to do a shift. I was doing 10 to 2 at the time. And yeah, it happened right before I got on the air. So it was it was literally the saddest day ever. I mean, to see people dying like that and to know there were children in those buildings and people were going in there. I think the worst part for me was seeing people falling from the buildings.
I know, that was horrible.
It was just
jumping.
Crazy.
To think that you would rather do that than, know what your fate was to stay in the building. That's
gotta give a big shout out to the city of New York because even though you never recover from something like that, they've done an awesome job remembering the victims, memorializing, and never letting anyone forget why we fight for some of the freedoms that we do have here in America. Because there's some crazy people out there that do some crazy stuff.
Yeah, totally agree. So yeah, we just want to make sure that we do our part to remember. As I said previously, there were 2,750 people killed in New York.
Right.
More than 400 were police officers and firefighters. There were 184 people at the Pentagon.
Damali, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna pause. You keep talking. Dr. Furter at the door, so I'm gonna go let him in. So you keep talking.
Okay.
Oh, JB Smooth got him, so I can see it. Go ahead.
Okay, and then 40 people in Pennsylvania. I
remember that.
Yeah. So
it wasn't just the World Trade Center where a plane went down. A lot of people don't even know. So give them that information one more time for some of these young people.
There were 2,750 people killed in New York. And of those 2,750, 400 were police officers and firefighters. 184 were killed at the Pentagon and 40 in Pennsylvania. So, we just want to, do our part, like I said, to remember those individuals. And, this is just something major that happened in our community that, or in the world. Like you said, the world paused. I remember not even hearing airplanes. Remember, they put the ban and no planes could fly.
You couldn't even fly.
And so it was so quiet. It was like so weird,
right.
To not hear planes flying, during that time period. And I remember us being a little freaked out because our building at the time in downtown Tulsa mirrored the World Trade Center, right?
So it made even
and so it was like,
real.
okay. And I was working on the 27th floor of that building. And I was just like, oh my God.
You kind of in a relatable situation because who knows what else is going on?
Exactly.
You kind of like, is this stuff going? I mean, it was just a moment, people were hysterical because this just can't be happening.
Not real. It was not real.
But so today, if you're listening in, no matter where you are around the world, whether you local, national, or international, today is a good day. Just pause for a moment. Even if you just do a moment of silence, man, give it a minute, and that just be for the people, that was greatly affected, by 9/11.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we'll move on to our next, it's kind of hard
hard,
to
it's
move
tough
on to, because that is really sad. But anyway, Uncle Brian says 4 planes crashed that day. Yes. This day changed air travel forever. You are absolutely correct. That's Jeremiah Blackwell who said that.
Oh yeah, once that happened, it was a whole lot of adjustments that had to be made.
For me driving trucks too, I drive up to Pennsylvania quite a bit, and there's this memorial off of the highway where you can go down, and it's marked. I don't remember which flight it was. It was either 93 or a flight 11, where the one that the plane that crashed. Yeah. That had diverted. It didn't crash into a building, but it still took some people with them.
40.
Yeah, that was crazy too. Every time I drive by there, you can't miss it.
Yeah,
it's a big sign that says, memorial for the victims.
I've never been there. I've been to the one in New York, and every time I go there, I'm just like bawling because I just cannot imagine. Just getting up. It's a regular day at work. You go into the office, got your coffee, and like, oh Lord, what do I got to do today? And then all of a sudden, boom, this happens, and that's just it.
I'll tell you the only good thing of anything. It's a silver lining in everything. And I would just say the silver lining for me is the way that we came together as a country.
We did.
During that time, it was no skin color. It was nothing. When you see what people was dealing with, if you was at work, whatever it was, at that time, everybody was coming together to help us all get through that as a country. I want to mention one more thing too, because it's like breaking news. I got this here. Shout out to Eli Grayson.
Hey, Eli.
A quick update on our last 2 remaining survivors of the massacre. Without comment, 7 members of the court on Tuesday turned away the request by 110-year-old Viola Fletcher and 109-year-old Leslie Benefield Randall to rehear its June ruling that upheld a decision by a district court judge in Tulsa to dismiss this case.
Wow.
Justice James Edmondson would have reheard the case, and Justice Richard Darby did not vote. Fletcher and Randall survived the massacre that is considered one of the worst single acts of violence against Black people in U.S. history. So that's an update from right here on Greenwood, home of Black Wall Street, where we exist, where we're having this show right now. That's unfortunate. Now, we're going to get to some better news, but at the end of the day, we have to cover things that are very important because we want to make sure people are informed and know what's going on. Damali, what do you think about that? I
think it's very sad. I think it's sad that, our justice system, allegedly justice system, is more focused on what people will say instead of really doing the right thing. It's easy for you to say that, oh, well, they were just little kids when this travesty happened. However, they still had parents. They still lost loved ones. We still don't have the generational wealth that we could have had this, this situation not taken place. And we're still fighting. Right. And, right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, we're still fighting for, justice. We're still fighting for the land that was taken from our community and from our ancestors. We're still fighting for that. And so it is very unfortunate that, these lives, the last 2 remaining survivors, they will leave this earth not having the justice that they deserve. It is very sad to me.
I think for me,
is that the last option?
That's it.
That is
end of the road.
They wouldn't willing to hear it. So I look at it as the endurance and the ability to overcome as sisters. 2 women, I always look at Black women as the backbone of our country. Because when nothing else was going right, the sister going to hold you down like last night. We'll get to that later. But anyway, my thought is I just can't, we can get a lot of things wrong, but I feel like Oklahoma and Tulsa, this is one thing that we just got completely
We missed
wrong.
it.
I mean, when the Centennial came, everybody flew here from all over the world. And I think Tulsa and I think Oklahoma made people believe that they was going to do right. They was saying the right stuff. They was raising millions of dollars. They was doing all the stuff. And all of the elders were saying they not going to do right. You know, I'm not from here originally. And in my mind, I think people from other cities was thinking, man, they got to do right. They done raised $20 million here. They done did this. And then when all that is unpacked, you realize that nobody want to do anything. So they mean they intentionally did not want to do anything. So
well, it goes back again to the smoke and mirrors that was created. We said this back during that time. So if you go back and look at our shows from back then, we said this, you know, and it happens over and over and over again. So you capitalize off of the pain and the suffering of our community. Right. You raise all that money, but none of that money went to any of us, you know, I mean, you know, or to our community, nor that we get back the land and the, you know, anything that's going to be substantial, that's going to create economic growth or generational wealth, you know, for any of the people that look like us.
Because my thought is if they were 6 and 7 years old and they try to say, oh, they didn't lose anything, but we done had kids and we done been 6 or 7 years old. So you go to sleep living in a nice home. You go to sleep living in a nice community with grocery stores and everything you need to have hope, to be encouraged, for a bright future. You go to sleep with all of that. You wake up to complete violence for days and nobody does nothing about it. The National Guard does nothing about it. The police do nothing about it. It's a fire going on. No firemen show up. But either way it goes, you have no compassion in your heart to make it right. Not just for them, because they're still here. I just can't imagine that. But for the descendants and for the North Tulsa community that's still here, but you can do that for everybody else. That's my issue. But I know this is not a reparation show or none of that.
Right.
But
yeah.
It's just sad to hear that news. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Okay. Very, very sad. Uncle Brian says that's why we have to register to vote and change the powers that be. And we can't stop until we get our freedom back.
I'll say this. Can I say this? This is my last thing, I promise. Because it's just, I just have because I've met them multiple times. I done sat with them. They so sweet. They so loving.
Mother Randall
they so
Beach and Domino's. I'm going to say that
and
too.
Did you have to bring that part up? See, it be your own people. You know, how am I going to beat somebody a century years old? I can't do nothing with that. She was doing, I'm like, what are you even doing? I couldn't even figure out how she was holding the dominoes. I'm like, you are doing trickery up in here. But I just love Mother, and I feel bad that her brother passed away. He lived to get 101. But nevertheless, here's the ticket, Damali. And I just ask everybody, because people listening all over the world, what can we do?
Yeah.
You know,
well, I think that
what
Uncle Brian has
we got to figure out what we can do.
We got to register to vote so we can change the powers that be, and we just got to keep fighting. I mean, it's a slow road.
I'm saying we can register and we can vote, but I'm like, what can we do to celebrate them outside of that?
Oh,
we've been voting, we've been fighting. We're going to keep doing that.
Yeah.
But what can we do for them at 110 and 109 that we can do to celebrate? Because some things we waiting on, we may never get. We're in our 50s.
No, I agree.
I just think as a community, I think we can come together and think of a way we can celebrate them and put some in their hand and put some in their accounts, and we can do it ourselves and forget. I'm not saying forget the court system, but I'm saying forget a court system that won't do right. By people that look like us. Agreed. After a tragedy like that is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll work on that.
If everybody in America did like a GoFundMe and you could do $1 per person, that would be $300 million to each one of them.
And that'd be plenty to come into Greenwood. See,
create
I like
legacy.
JB. See, JB got his Lokes on today.
Okay.
You know, see, if you got his Lokes on, imagine a thinking cap is on, and his hair is curly. I don't know what's going on.
Right.
But anyway, JB, that's what I'm talking about. All of us could do a little bit around this country and just be a blessing to them, the descendants, and North Tulsa. And we don't have to wait for no government, no Supreme Court to do right. We can do right by ourselves.
Totally agree. Well, go ahead, Charles. What is our next point?
The next point on here, because I'm getting fired up in the chest area. I'm going to say it with my chest. How about them Cowboys? How about them Cowboys? How about that? To start off this hump day.
Y'all know it was coming. Y'all knew it was coming.
Somebody talk to me about my boy.
Season.
See, Dak and CD just needed their money. See, when brothers' money is funny, we can't really play right. So it's Super Bowl time now. I know my frat brothers is on one now.
Right.
It's Super Bowl time now.
Yeah.
Dak, $60 million per year. You got to show up and show out.
Got to show up.
Now, let me tell you something. Cleveland Browns is not a pushover.
Yeah.
They shut down San Francisco. They shut down Kansas City.
Yeah.
That's a tough team.
Yeah.
And they went down there and treated them like a loaf of light bread down there. You know what I'm talking about?
light bread.
Treat him like some. Y'all ain't even heard light bread. Y'all ain't heard that before. Y'all heard wheat bread and all that.
Right.
Light bread. You got to be from the country.
Yes.
JB Smooth. Come on, man. The Cowboys.
Look, Michael Brewer said, "Boo! They played the Browns."
Man, the Browns
Dude.
are good.
I'm just proud of the Cowboys. I'm proud to be a Cowboys fan and have never given up on my team.
Yeah.
And
Yuck.
you know, $240 million to one guy for the next 4 years. $260 million, I guess. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of
The
bread.
largest contract.
That's
in the
a lot of
history
light bread.
of NFL, but
We need to call Dak and get him in on the reparations too.
Right.
yeah, let him put a little 10% of that
Yeah, right.
over
right.
to
right.
the people.
Jeremiah said, "Who that? Here we come to ruin that Super Bowl hype."
We
Y'all know darn well
y'all don't want none of that
Saints ain't
smoke.
got nothing coming
that
this
defense.
Sunday.
You know, and I know typically the Cowboys look strong, then they look weak right
The
behind that.
defense is on point. I ain't gonna lie.
Listen. Uncle Brian said it was going so well, and now we have to hit a 5-car pileup.
Oh,
How about them Cowboys? I hope your team won this weekend.
that's
I
crazy.
wanted to say this, that just because he's on the line, the Eagles won. They beat the Packers 33-29.
Now,
So
hold
Michael
on.
Brewer, there
Let's
you
say
go.
this: the Eagles barely won.
Uh-oh.
It's a difference. That's what I'm saying. How about them Cowboys? See, the
Uh-oh.
Eagles, they got by a feather. They won by a feather
By a feather.
off their right wing.
Michael, you hear him?
barely. Michael, y'all barely got by. But you got by.
Speaking of football, you guys know that there's a big conversation right now with Jay-Z and who gets picked to perform at the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Kendrick Lamar was
Yep.
picked to perform at the Super Bowl, and everybody from Louisiana is losing their minds because Lil Wayne didn't get picked.
You know what? I've been trying to figure this out in my mind. Because on one side, I know the NFL is all about big business.
Right.
And my
Absolutely.
thought is when the Super Bowl comes, that's not just for New Orleans.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl is for the world to see.
The world.
Mhm.
So my assumption is they decided Kendrick Lamar, because him and Drake been battling, and he got, hey, they not like us.
Morbid,
They
yeah,
not like
yeah.
us. They got
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that going on right now.
Mhm.
Now, if this was just a New Orleans, people only gonna be there,
Yeah.
then I could agree to that because there's no bigger star.
Yeah.
The Kendrick Lamar, even if you take the battle aspect out of it, the song was so huge.
Man,
Right. Yeah.
around the
6
world.
months.
Mm-hmm.
It was so huge, people got tired of hearing it.
Right.
So, I mean, what Kendrick has done for the culture this year, what he's done for hip hop, and what he's going to do with his album, you know that's going to be special.
Right.
Dr. Dre produced
Mhm.
album coming from Kendrick right before Super Bowl.
Mhm.
Come on, man.
I'll
Yeah.
say this though: the Super Bowl has been in New Orleans, and nobody puts on a party like New Orleans.
Now that's
If you've been
true.
in New Orleans, you know what I'm
Absolutely.
talking about.
Yeah.
And the Super Bowl has been there multiple times. It could be a little slap in the face that you can't let none of the local people
Yeah.
be on the big stage.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm only saying that because they are capitalizing off their culture.
Mhm.
They're capitalizing off their state. They're
Absolutely.
capitalizing on everything New Orleans. But
So
the
why
ticket would be, if we did it right,
Mhm.
leave New Orleans something.
Mhm.
Even if you can't go with a local, what are you leaving for their community versus coming in and just extracting everything and leaving?
But that's the theory of big business.
That's
I'll
what I'm
just
talking
drop it
about.
like that.
We'll leave it right
Okay,
there.
so we're up to the Black History trivia question.
Get your thinking caps on.
All right, y'all ready?
We ready.
No Googling. All right. What African American group cared for tuberculosis patients in Seaview Hospital in New York from 1928 to 1960? Was it A, the Black Angels? Was it B, the National Black Nurses Association? Was it C, the Peace of Mind Association? Or was it D, the Army Nurse Corps?
Read it one more. I'm asking for a friend.
What African American group cared for tuberculosis patients at Seaview Hospital in New York from 1928 to 1960? Was it A, the Black Angels? Was it B, the National Black Nurses Association? Was it C, Peace of Mind Corps? Or was it D, the Army Nurse Corps?
JB, you got to go first, man.
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna guess on this one, and I already looked at the question. I'm gonna go with
Uncle Brian say A because JB said I'm gonna go with I'm gonna
go with A because the Black Angels just sound like an organization back in the day. that they needed some angels
Jeremiah
for the tuberculosis.
said B.
Jeremiah out of Mississippi said B. Michael Brewer,
Said C.
the greatest Eagles fan in Muskogee, at least, in Tulsa, said C.
Michael, you know what time of the year it is, so stop it.
All right, Charles, what you going with?
Can I do mine after the break?
That you got to think that.
I got to think about it. And we got a special guest, and I'm going to lean on him.
Okay.
What that song say, lean on me?
All right.
So we're going to give y'all and myself over the break. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Because you know what today is? It's the second Wednesday of the month. You know what we always do. We got a load to show you want to lock in because we're going to talk about the state of Black America. Where do we sit? What are we doing? And where are we trying to go?
Yes.
Y'all lock in, and the doc going to give us his answer. And then whatever he say, that's what I said. Just like that. KBOB 89.9 FM. World on Development News. You can use Charles and Damali. We'll be right back. It's a medical report, y'all.
The 36th Street North Event Center is a full-scale event center where we share the experiences of the community. At the event center, you can rent space for weddings, birthday parties, receptions, concerts, Greek events, quinceañeras, and much more. We also do custom decor, linen, and centerpieces. We're located at 1125 East 36th Street North. To book your next special event, business gathering, or community event, call us at 918-200-9046.
Fitting Back In is a reintegration program designed to help those released from prison to fit back into the community as productive, valuable members of society. They help schedule various classes such as anger management, substance abuse, and mental health. They also work with different programs in the community to provide job training. If you or someone you know needs help with resources in career development, employment, or housing, to find out more information, call 918-592-3500 or stop by 2121 North Harvard Avenue, Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m.
EduRec is a youth and family fun center located at 5424 North Madison Avenue in Tulsa, Oklahoma. At EduRec, we offer a host of activities for children and families of the Tulsa community at little to no cost. To find out about the many programs, activities, and services offered at EduRec, please visit our website, www.edurectulsa.com, or just give us a call at 918-430-3947.
KBOB 89.9 FM World One Development News. You can use Charles and Damali, and we are back.
We are back. And today is, as Charles said before we went to break, today is the second Wednesday of the month. And you guys know what happens on the second Wednesday of the month. JB, tell them what happens.
Chilling on the corner in my sixth fault. Hypertension and stress. I don't need no more. 1, 2, 3 into the fault. The doctor's at the door, ready to make an entrance.
The doctor's in. Doctor, please help us save the world.
Oh, yeah. It's time for the medical report with Dr. Andre Perdue. Right here, right now, with Charles and Damali on World One Development's News You Can Use. What's up, Doc?
I love the drops on this show. We have the best time with these drops.
There's no doubt, and no matter when I hear that always brings warmth to my heart and warmth to my spirit.
Doc, how you doing today, man?
Yes, it is pretty dope.
I'm good. 9/11, and I think it was 2001.
Yeah,
right.
2001.
So we're talking about 23 years, and even to this day, it kind of takes your breath away when you think about it. And I know for me, I was a fellow at UCLA in a fellowship program, and I had to cover one of our outlying hospitals. And I heard on the radio what had happened, and I thought it was a joke. I thought it was a terrible joke, but I could not fathom that something like that could happen on U.S. soil. And so by the time I ended up getting to the hospital, when you walk in the hospital, every television is on, and they actually showed the airplanes as they crashed into the Twin Towers. And my immediate thought was, well, if they hit New York, they're gonna hit Los Angeles,
another big city.
Exactly, they're gonna hit. I didn't even think about the Pentagon, but essentially those are kind of the three biggest cities for a variety of different reasons. So. My wife was hysterical, and I'm trying to have a conversation with her and saying, "Look, you can't leave the house, and I can't leave the hospital because I don't know what this day is going to look like. I don't know if if something massive happens, I might be home in a week. So, it was. It was a terrible, terrible time with the loss and the fear. This was the first time that we had been attacked on our soil by a foreign entity.
Right.
And you know what? We've never been the same. And we'll never be the same, because
Right.
if it happens one time, we have systems in place to help to minimize the risk, but we have ports that people can come in in containers that there's just too many containers for all of them to be checked.
Right.
There are ways of getting around surveillance to get someone who, if someone is evil enough and crazy enough to develop a plan to harm a large number of people, just the mere fact that you have that mindset may put you in a position where you can actually do it, because
absolutely.
Most people aren't cut that way.
Yeah.
They'd be thinking about doing that. So it's a great time of reflection. As this world has changed, it's stayed the same. When we think about the last two remaining individuals from the Greenwood massacre,
Right.
this country has continued to show that when it comes to people of color, and not just black folks, but people of color in general, that we're always going to be second-class citizens to others.
Right.
So the only way that we're going to be able to rise up is if we rise up with each other.
That's right.
Because there's not going to be a governmental plan, I don't care who the president is, that is going to be specifically geared to make things equal or to bring a sense of equality when it comes to things like that.
Absolutely.
So it's only going to happen by us banding together and saying, whether it's a GoFundMe account or whether we have a massive reparations party at one of our facilities, and everything that comes in is going to be a donation, whether it's 10 at the door, 10 for a drink, whatever it might be. That's one way to probably to make $5, $10, $15,000 that might actually help. So this is the world that we live in now, and we're just going to have to figure out a way to negotiate through it, because if we take care of our business, when we do pass through this life on to the pearly gates, that's where eternity and where bliss truly is, because this is not the place for it. But you know what, we've got to negotiate our way through it and try to be the best version of ourselves and represent God as we go along.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thank you.
What
for
I
that.
love about Doc is he's in tune to everything.
Yep.
Because sometimes you figure if you're a doctor in the hospital, as much different things that go on with the hospital, then that just consumes you. But I'm thankful that Dr. Purdue will come hang out with us for over 3 years.
Yes.
Close to 4 years, because just what he's doing is adding and shedding some light on the community. Because now a lot of people think you're their primary physician, even though I know you're not. But they say, Dr. Purdue, that's my doctor. And I'm like, you better find your primary unless he's actually yours. But thank God you're still giving information that's helping people quality of life be better.
Well, listen, you know what? That's God gives us all special gifts, and those are gifts that need to be shared. Because you know what? Just as God's giving you a gift, He can take your gift away.
Oof,
So,
what did you say to your wife after you guys got back together after that day was over? I mean, when you guys seen each other again, because you said you didn't know when you would see each other again.
You know what? We cried. That was the first thing we did. We cried because we knew at that time we didn't have children, but we knew that moving from that day forward, life was never going to be the same.
Yeah.
And the arc of our children's lives would never be the same.
Right.
Because there's a vulnerability that you have now when something like that happens. So we cried. And when we were able to kind of bring ourselves back together in some semblance of understanding and reverence that that I made it home and that we were safe, we prayed. And at the time we were living with my wife's grandparents, who were in their 70s. I think they were in their 70s, and they gave us perspective. And we talked about the things that they had seen in life, and with the civil rights movement, and things that the Second World War and things of that sort. So travesty is something that this world will always have in some capacity. the real question for us is how do we negotiate and try to find, as you said before, Charles, try to find the silver lining, because there's a silver lining in everything.
Right.
But you know what it did was it showed us that we have to be more intentional with how we represent ourselves, more intentional with telling those around us that we love them, more intentional in our faith, because nothing's promised.
Yeah.
Just like that. And after all of that, I still need you for one more thing before we start. We're going to read this Black History Trivia question. It's in your field.
Yeah.
I'm leaning on you because it's in your space. Yeah. It's in your wheelhouse. I'm trying to encourage you to encourage me.
Gifts and talents,
so let's
right?
read this. If you're on the live, we're going to read the Black History Trivia question one more time.
One more time. So the Black History Trivia question is, what African-American group cared for tuberculosis patients at Seaview Hospital in New York from 1928 to 1960? Was it A, the Black Angels? Was it B, the National Black Nurses Association? Was it C, the Peace of Mind Corps? Or was it D, the Army Nurse Corps?
Doctor, you on the clock.
Well, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. This is going to be
It's
a
a
guess.
tough one, ain't it?
It's a guess.
Yeah, it's going to be a guess. But, I think that it's B. I think it's the National Black Nurses Association.
Okay.
And because I know they still have a very strong, they're still a very strong entity now. The other entities I'm not as familiar with, but they do fantastic work as far as getting out in the community as well as through education. So.
Damali, my answer is B. I've thought about it. I sat over here and did my research, and then in my studies, B, I'm sure is my answer.
Your studies of the Dr. Perdue School of Logic.
Hey, let me do some shout outs, y'all. I'm sorry. I had to read the things about the survivors real quick. So, Mary Jo, our sister,
Hey,
welcome
Mary
to the
Jo.
show. Jeremiah out of Mississippi, he's in here. Of course, Uncle Brian, welcome to the
Uncle
show.
Brian,
Michael, he's sitting over there
Jeremiah.
smiling
Hey,
about
Michael.
them Eagles. Welcome. We got a lot more people, and the secret listeners are off the charts.
Yes.
I know why they're here. We're going to give them what they want.
Yes.
But I done seen the cars. I seen the helicopters. I seen the people under the bushes, the hedges, and on the roof. But we going to give you what you want. Share this because we going to get into the state of African Americans in this country, just to give a little context to it. So JB going to give us a little bit of music, I think, in the background so y'all can feel good, because it's all about love.
Right.
But every now and then we have to just talk about us a little bit.
Talk
and that's
about
all right.
us. So what I did today is, and I'm punting this out to the guys, and so this is going to be cold turkey, and we're just going to flow with it, right? So I found a survey. This is done by KFF. It's called the KFF Survey on Racism, Discrimination, and Health. And what it is it's an analysis of health data sets, including the 2022 American Community Survey, the 2022 Behavioral Risk Factor Surveillance Systems, and the 2022 National Health Interview Survey, as well as the Drug Use and Health Survey and Consumer Finance Survey. So it's a whole bunch of surveys compiled into one, right? And so I'm going to just punt some stuff out here and give you guys some statistics, and then we'll just kind of talk about those.
We just unpack it a little bit.
We're gonna
on the
unpack
live
it.
too. Y'all join in on this conversation.
Because this is a conversation for all of us, right? So one of the sections in this particular survey, and you can go to KFF, that's KingFrankFrank.org. This actual survey was published December 5th of 2023. So it was just published last year. And they use data sets from 2022 and some of them from 2019 as well. So from 2019 forward, I'll just say that through 2022. But and for racial disparity, and we're talking about between Black and so racial disparities in health status and outcomes, okay, is what this section is called. So what it says is this: Black and American Indians fare worse than white people across the majority of examined measures of health statuses and outcomes, is what we're talking about. And so they give the reasoning. So in life expectancy, what they say is for Black people, our life expectancy, according to this, and this is based on 2022 stats, so let's say that again, Black people live 72.8 years, while American Indians live 67.9 years, and white Americans live 85.5 years.
Yep. 12-year disparity.
Okay, so we agree that that's kind of been the disparity
Yep.
there. Okay. So then one of the other spaces where they talk about is fair poor health statuses. Okay. So what they're saying is that nearly 3 in 10 Asian adults and roughly 21% of Black adults fair or poor health status compared to 16% of whites. So what they're saying basically is 16% of white people have better or bad health as opposed to 21% of Black folks.
Well, let's just unpack this
Mhm.
life expectancy difference.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, we always talk about health is wealth.
Correct.
And sometimes even if that the 12 years may be different, but how are you even living those later years? When we think about our family sometimes,
Right.
that last years they done had maybe 2 or 3 heart attacks, couple strokes. So those last years might not even be like healthy years.
Right.
But Doc, when you hear that 12-year difference with just life expectancy, as a doctor, how do you what are your thoughts about that?
Well, it's true.
Mhm.
Okay. First of all, I mean, I think that's valid information. And if you kind of look at the arc of life, when you look at children of color, particularly Black children, if you look at their infant mortality and morbidity rates, they're higher.
Mhm.
Okay, so it starts off with life. So and that goes back to the moms getting appropriate prenatal care and the appropriate care, which is suboptimal compared to our white counterparts. Okay.
So, and does that mean that you're not getting the care soon enough?
Yes, that, or there's always the challenge of the access of care. Okay. So, if you start off, if we take that infant and that infant has a higher risk of having morbidity, which essentially is illness and things that would make life more challenging, or mortality, you start off with that. You're already starting behind the curve.
Exactly.
So then if you look at the access of care through childhood, okay, and you look at immunization shots, okay, there is real validity to actually having your MMR and having all of the different type of immunization shots, or are children of color getting all of those appropriately. A lot of the school systems, they will not allow you in the school unless you get them.
Correct.
But there are some issues where kids of color are not getting those. Then you look at exposure to alcohol, exposure to cigarettes, exposure to illicit drugs, very early in life, whether that is from the neighborhood, whether it's from the parents, or not. If you add that to the equation, now you're talking about a child that's, in their, late teens, early 20s, that has a lot of factors already against them. Now, is that going to be someone who's going to go off to college, or are they going to get a menial job, or are they going to go ahead and live life in the streets? So if you look at all of the hurdles that are built up throughout life, I'm surprised that number's not larger.
So let me ask this: Does birth weight have anything to do with this morbidity?
Absolutely. So children that are born to parents are born to mothers that smoke, or mothers that have illicit drug exposures, or mothers that are malnourished, or mothers that have issues with access to care. Those are going to be children born to those mothers that are going to have a higher risk of being low birth weight.
Right.
And so now being low birth weight, how is that child being fed? Studies have always shown that breastfeeding is actually better for a child than formula.
Right.
Okay. Leads to greater immunity, as well as less GI issues. There's less gluten allergies and things of that sort. Well, if you're already starting off as a mother who has limited means, then formula is going to be a lot easier than actually breastfeeding.
Right.
So there's so many bricks in this wall that need to be chipped away to kind of to provide children in our community, as well as the American Indian community, because they have a similar set of issues. But a lot of them, their limitations, because a lot of them are on a reservation.
Correct.
Okay. So there's just limited means there. There's limited food means. There's limited health means. So it's a situation of, unfortunately, and a lot of times it's have and have nots.
Right.
If you take someone who you take someone who is affluent, okay, and they're a Black family that's affluent.
Right.
Okay, my wife and I think that we're fortunate enough to have that. I think
Mhm.
you guys are fortunate enough to have that.
Mhm.
We have opportunities where, our opportunities are much more in line with our Caucasian counterparts.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Now there are a lot of Caucasians that are living below the poverty line, like folks of color. So
Right.
you're
Right.
looking at not only class issues, but you're also looking at race issues.
Right.
And the debates showed a lot last night on the way people think about what life is moving forward.
Right.
People that are thinking about the past and let me get yours so I'll have more, as opposed to people who are thinking about, let's look to the future and try to find a way together.
Right.
We have a lot of people that live in the past, and
So,
those people that live in the past,
Mhm.
they don't have much in their heart for those of us that are without.
I just want to get, I got the live people. They be like,
Yeah.
Charles, you forgetting sometime, but I'm not forgetting about y'all. So real quick, Uncle Brian said, Charles, you'll be sorry. I don't know about what, but I don't want to run into Uncle Brian in the streets until I figure out what's going on. Paige McClinton, Fort Worth, Texas, in the building. Jeremiah Blackwell out of Mississippi said, this facts. Look at our diet from day one.
Yeah.
And then we got Uganda.
Hey,
in the building.
Oguti.
What's up,
Oguti is in the
Uganda?
building. He took care of us
Yes.
from day one the whole entire time. Welcome to the show all the way from Uganda. And then Jeremiah said, Doc is telling all facts.
Exactly.
Just like, I want to ask a quick question.
Okay.
I'm thinking about, you're talking about those factors.
Yeah.
The drinking, the smoking, and all of that.
Mhm.
So my thought is, if the mother is dealing with some of that, does that contaminate the dad's seed? Are we dealing with some contaminated seed if dad smokes, drinks, and do this, or is the seed still clean?
Okay.
Coming in.
Well, listen, you know what? DNA is affected by a lot of different things. I mean,
Right.
your DNA is essentially what makes us who we are.
Right.
And in that, if you have fathers that are partaking in certain illicits or making certain lifestyle decisions, you know what? That will have an effect on the DNA. And so,
Wow.
and with that, and you always hear the situation of nature versus nurture, right?
Right.
Okay, so
Right.
nature is DNA.
Right.
Nurture is the environment you live in. The environment you live in is absolutely a significant contributor to the life you're going to live.
Wow.
Now we hear fantastic stories about a lot of brothers and sisters in the rap community or professional athletes, things of that sort, lived in a impoverished situation and they made their way out.
Mhm.
But even in those situations when they've made their way out, there are still factors that they carry with them that can pull them back into making bad decisions,
Right.
and whether it be money wise or whether it be relationship wise, because of the environment they're in. So, nature versus nurture is involved in everything.
And I say, Damali, what it makes me think of when I was young, man, we go, it's party time on the weekend. The fish is hot, the potatoes is coming out. But you go into a house with your family, I mean, everybody is smoking. You don't even think about it. You kids,
Yep.
you just
When we
run
were
in.
little, yep.
And then if somebody gonna run to the store, you get in the store, the windows are rolled up, the air is blowing cold, but everybody is smoking and you a kid.
Yeah.
So in mine, I'm just thinking those are maybe some of the simple things we can maybe
Right.
think about.
Yeah.
When you got kids, it's like, man, maybe we shouldn't just smoke in the house.
Mhm.
Because I think even after you put it out, the nicotine or whatever is still floating. So now, sometimes this cancer and stuff show up in your kids now when they teenagers, and they're like, wow, where did this come from? But if you grew up maybe in that kind of environment,
Right.
Well,
then
listen,
that could be.
listen, you're absolutely right. I think that smoking. I know with my mother, everybody smoked. Matter of fact,
Just
if you
the thing.
didn't smoke, people actually thought there was something wrong with you.
Right.
I
right.
remember that.
Really?
I remember
Yeah.
And
True.
so now we're in an environment where you have a hard time smoking out in public.
Mhm.
So I think when you kind of look at cancer numbers, 20, 30, 40 years ago versus what cancer numbers might look like 10
Man.
to 15 years from now, we may see a drop in cancer because of the fact people are not smoking as much as they used to. But what about childhood asthma and things of that sort? A lot
Right,
of times,
yeah.
that can be tipped by the fact that multiple people in the home smoke.
So that could happen because of a mother smoking or a father smoking while the child is coming about. Could that create that?
Well, listen, that can affect the birth weight. That can affect the
Mhm.
health of the baby. That can affect all elements of the life, and we're not even going to throw in there whether or not exposure to illicit drugs, where you hear about fetal alcohol syndrome, children
Right.
that are born mentally compromised, or kids that are born from a mother that may have used cocaine or used PCP or a variety of different things. So
Let's take it to the live. We're gonna take it to the live. What we got?
So Uncle Brian says, when I was born C-section, and I was 3 weeks late because the doctor didn't want my mom to have any more kids. So he waited that long before I was born. Whoops, somebody just did another. Okay, people are texting. Hold on. So he waited that long before I was born, which caused my mom to be in a coma for 72 hours and her being unable to walk for 3 weeks. She went on to be able to recover and to go on to have 2 more kids, all C-section. But thank God it's better now for us for healthcare by not much.
I think let's do all of them and then
Okay.
just let them kind of touch on that.
Okay. So of course, Jolie has a comment. She said there are some Trump supporters starting to question his resolve. His company stock dropped dramatically this morning after the debates. It went up 30 points after the assassination attempt and dropped 50 points this morning. I'm just saying.
Wow.
Well, all right. And then Jeremiah said that's because of all the cats and the dogs being eaten.
You know what? See, we ain't even gonna do this. We were just in a serious space. You see, it be your own people out of Mississippi. Show up. Dr. Purdy, we're gonna pull it back in. Doc, just pull it back, pull us back in. Just pull us. We'll get to that in a minute. I promise.
No. Uncle Brian has another piece to add to that. He said, but it's more chemicals in cigarettes and vaping than back in the day, but it's still bad.
We'll stick with Uncle Brian right now. What you think about that?
Well, listen, you know what? When you look at vaping, you're getting probably 4 to 5 times the amount of inhalation of smoke into your lungs than you are when you puff a cigarette.
Ooh.
So
vaping is worse.
Yeah, I think it's worse.
Much worse.
I think it's worse.
Look at them clouds that be coming out.
I know,
right?
Big.
And they freak you out,
and then you look at it. You have children that are vaping. I mean, you have children that are in their early teenage years that are vaping. So. Listen, you know what? If you're putting anything in your lungs other than oxygen, it's not the right thing.
Okay. And Damali, is there anything else on health we want to touch on before we switch over to the wealth?
The one thing that we were talking about the fact that food insecurities and all of that. But one of the things I wanted to bring up was about obesity. According to this survey, they're saying that as of 2022, 43% of Black folks, as opposed to 13% of Asians and 32% of whites, are obese.
Yep.
How do we get to that if we're talking about food insecurity being one of the problems in our community? Then how do we have more people who are obese?
Hold on real quick, Doc. I'm just gonna do this because I think she's talking about me. I went and got my little.
She talking about me.
It be your own people. See, I had lost 15 pounds. No, hold on. I'm 5'9.5", and the doctor gonna tell me I'm supposed to weigh 160. I weigh 205. I'm doing the best that I can. But she in this muscle. Doc, I'm big boned. Tell them about Black big boned people. Tell them it exists. Tell them the big bones exist.
Hey.
Tell her, Doc.
Listen, all I'm going to say about that is this. I think one of the biggest challenges that we have in the Black community is the fact we're not active enough. So, you know what? Eating fresh fruits and vegetables, it's always a good idea to leave something left on the plate. You know what? We have been taught as children that because in a lot of homes, we didn't have a lot. So when you don't have a lot, I remember my mother telling me, you don't get up from that plate. You don't get up from that seat until that plate is clean.
That's right.
Happy plate.
Right. And and then on top of that, we have spices and seasonings. You know what? Big Mama makes a fantastic cake, whether it's a pineapple upside down cake or strawberry cake or whatever it is. So listen, one thing that it's a 2-part issue. One, we need to be more active. And you know what? It doesn't mean you need to go start trying for a marathon, but it may very well mean that you get multiple people in your neighborhood that go on a walk, whether that's a 15, 20, 30-minute walk a couple of days a week. We need to do a better job of having fresh fruits and vegetables. I think probably every Black community should look into a community garden. Where everybody contributes to the garden, and you know what, and make sure that everybody protects the garden. And so, there are some things that we need to do. A lot of it is grassroots type of activity, but you know what? If you know that, and folks know when they're overweight.
Yeah.
Okay. If you know that you're overweight, you're not. Rome was not built in a day. You're not going to drop 30 pounds in 3 days.
Right.
But you know what? Have a protein program. Have a routine on how you want to go about doing it. But being more active, drinking more water, and eating more and eating fresher fruits and vegetables, leaner meats is a good way to go.
Man,
Yeah,
that's good input right there, Doc. And
So the
one
body
day at
say
a
your
time.
calves is too big, then you can't be. Yeah.
Man, why are you throwing me under the bus, bro? I didn't say that. It was the survey. It wasn't even me.
Let's go to the live. What's on? So Teresa said, yes, Charles, big boned it. There you go. Also, Uncle Brian said, what Uncle Brian? Let me see.
He said, I'm on the wagonry and I have lost 25 pounds, but I'm afraid if the access of the meds go away, I'll gain the weight back because I love CHF and VTAC.
Man.
That's right there with the dogs and the cats.
So you know what? It again in that situation, I mean that's a medical way to go about losing weight. Still probably a good thing to start adding in is some physical activity in that. So, and again, you're not training for a marathon, but if you may need to walk 3 to 5 times a week for 15 to 20 minutes. It doesn't have to mean that you're in a full out pant by the time that you're done.
Right.
But, physical activity will help you get your metabolic rate up, which will help you to keep your weight down. You
know what? And I would just say this for me. Everybody has been watching my weight loss journey. And it's not really like something that I'm like, I'm consciously doing it, like I'm doing it on purpose because I listen to Dr. Fardu for number one. But for number two, I just feel better, right? Yeah. And what I did, the biggest thing that I did was cutting my plate in half. Anytime I eat, I just eat half of it and take the other half with me. Yeah. Unless I'm starving. And if I'm starving, I'm just gonna eat the whole thing. Gone. But that's not, that's not very often. Most of the time I'm intentional about just, okay, half of this I'm gonna take home. Right. And that has been the biggest thing. I've been going to the gym. I never stopped. I did Zumba for 20 years, never stopped. But the biggest thing for me was watching my food intake.
Like somebody's bragging.
What you eat. So let's do this real quick because we got another part of this segment we got to get to, but real quick, one thing you can do, you can go to Oasis Fresh Market. What's the address to Oasis Fresh Market?
I forgot.
We're gonna tell
1725 North Peoria.
See that, JB Smooth.
Okay,
1725 North Peoria. Go to Oasis. They got all
that's
the fresh
why you got
produce.
A producer.
Hey, they got nice staff. It's very, very clean. So that's one thing. Also, this month on Our Community, Our Health, they will have nutritionists on discussing health, nutritional information for us. So you can make sure you like that page and tune in to that. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to get into economics. We're going to talk about this money, the moolah, the dinero, something else, that bag, y'all. KBOB 89.9 FM. World Development News you can use. The medical report. We're talking economics when we come back.
The Juice Radio Show and KBOB 89.9 would like to say thank you to all of our listeners and sponsors who donate to help keep our media program alive, reaching the community. The Juice Radio Network continues to expand as influencers in the community of North Tulsa and beyond, but can't do that without your help. That's why it's important that we as a community continue to support the Juice Radio Show and keep 89.9 on the air. The community not only deserves this service, but needs this service. Let's continue to support the mission and giving a voice to the voiceless and donate to the Juice Radio Show. The Juice Radio Show is a nonprofit 501c3 powered by KBOB 89.9 and Eden Media Services, operating solely off the gifts, donations, and contributions made by listeners like yourself. All donations made to the Juice Radio Show are tax deductible and can be sent to 1216 North Lansing Avenue, Suite D, Tulsa, Oklahoma 74106.
It's Tulsa, Tulsa. I see you here. In Tulsa, I'm in Tulsa, Jimmy.
We appreciate your continued support and thanks for listening to KBOB 89.9 FM.
EduRec is a youth and family fun center located at 5424 North Madison Avenue in Tulsa, Oklahoma. At EduRec, we offer a host of activities for children and families of the Tulsa community at little to no cost. To find out about the many programs, activities, and services offered at EduRec, please visit our website, www.edurectulsa.com, or just give us a call at 918-430-3600. 3947.
KBOB 89.9 FM World One Development News you can use, and we are back. Damali, what's up on the live?
We are back. And so I'm going to read a couple of these comments. So AJ out in Arkansas says junk food, fast food is not healthy, as well as most people nowadays eat unhealthy. The excuse is vegetable probably every Black community should look into a community healthy eating. I went down in my weight from 272 pounds to 217 pounds. Good job, AJ.
Hey.
He said his goal is to get under 200 pounds, in which he eats healthy and does long walks and uses a starch band. I don't know what that
Starch.
is. Maybe it's stretch. Maybe it's supposed to be stretch.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, stretch band. Jolie says, yeah, that's another thing we do is sit till we're stuffed. That's overeating. You're absolutely correct. Yep. And then Uncle Brian says, but junk food is always cheaper than healthy food, which is keeping a lot of people obese.
And what I'll do is, and I know we got to switch gears because, man, our time is going quick. As I say, I keep telling myself is I eat to live not live to eat.
Yep. Right.
And that's what I tell myself every day. Now, that's a challenge. Yeah. Dr. Perdue, I'll let you get to the last thing before we switch.
Well, listen, you know, I think it's important for people to keep in mind that, what Charles is saying there is that, listen, you know what, a lot of us have grown up in homes where, we eat catfish and eat gumbo and eat etouffee and all of these fantastic meals that not only taste fantastic, but they have fantastic memories. It doesn't mean that you have to stop doing those things, but you can't eat that way all the time.
Right.
So, if I know that, hey, you know what, my wife and I are going to go, we're going to go to Rubicon, which is one of our favorite spots, and get ourselves a stuffed potato. Right. I know I can't eat that way for the whole week because I'll have to literally roll out of my house. Right. So that very well means that for me, I may have to say, look, you know what? I need to make sure that I'm consuming more fluids. I want to make sure that I eat a salad over the next couple of days. Maybe I want to eat a salad or two the day after I actually, get our potato from Rubicon. So
every day, because we also want to have
they good.
Yeah. So
right.
Yeah. So it's kind of one of those things that I think it's important for people to look at this, and we need to enjoy our life, but you know what, we tend to enjoy our life when we feel better. And when you're overstuffed and you're overweight and you're going up steps and you're out of breath, there's not a whole lot of enjoyment in that.
And let's do this. You have a special guest that's just joined the show. You want to introduce our other special guest?
Yeah, my better half, Jolie Perdue. My bride, we've been married 28 years, and we've been together over 30 years. So yes. I'm a lucky and I'm a blessed man.
Yes, it's always great when we have my sister come in and sit with us. We have a great time.
Jolie, welcome to the show. How you doing, real quick?
Blessed and highly favored.
Blessed and highly favored.
Amen.
Yes. All right. So we are going to jump into just a couple of, and we're just because our time is running away from us. We'll talk about wealth just a little bit. But so something in this same article that I pulled, and again, if you guys want to look at the entire thing, you can go to kff.org. This is a survey that was done, or it actually is a compilation of several surveys, and from December 5th of 2023. But one of the things that they talk about when we start talking about net worth and the wealth disparities between the races, right? And so let me just give you a definition. Wealth. Okay, and so that we're clear, wealth is what a family owns less what they owe.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. So that's what it means. It don't mean that you got 15 cars sitting out here. If you paying on all 15 of them, right? Then that ain't wealth.
Exactly. You're not owning it.
Yeah. You don't own it. Okay.
Yeah. Hold on. We got like another 600 people done jumped on. We appreciate y'all. Welcome to the show. If you're just not joining us, we're talking about state of Black America.
Yes.
Health and economics. That's what we're talking about today.
So let me just drop this number on you, and I was just like, whoa. So Black families' wealth is what this section is entitled, and it says that Black families' median wealth was $45,000 in 2022, which grew 66% from 2019. Okay, but our white counterparts, their average is $242,000.
Yeah.
Jolie, we coming to you first. We talking about state of Black America.
That's six.
The
times
wealth
high.
gap. For us, it's 45,000. That's our wealth, and our counterparts is 242,000. What do you think about that?
I think it's a travesty. I think that I think a lot of it, we need to get education out there in how to invest, how to invest in the stock market. We didn't have that education in our upbringing. That wasn't a part of it. We need to be out there seeking that education, sharing that education with our children. And if you don't know, can I just give a little plug to somebody that's helped my own education?
Come on. Yes, you can.
It's been the Black Wealth Management, Dr. Boyd Watkins. He is the truth. Just start following him. Just start slow. He's got lots of little programs out there. Educate yourself so you can educate your kids. And he will tell you the only way to elevate your level of wealth, you have to be participating in the stock market. And you can start off with $5 a day. And that's how I started. I started off small, and I'm trying to keep it going for our family to pass on generational wealth.
Let me ask you this, Doc. Do you feel, because I think some of this has to do with people view us, and sometimes we view ourselves as only consumers. Versus entrepreneurs and business owners and trying to generate wealth. What do you think about us just thinking, I just want to go spend, I want the Jordans, I want this, but we're not really thinking about what Jolie mentioned. What's your thoughts?
Well, you know what? I think one of the challenges that we in the Black community have is the fact that we don't have that meaningful time that we spend where we talk about the value of the dollar.
Right.
It's so easy to, you walk onto a college campus, you can get 12 credit cards. Okay. And now next thing you know, I got 12 credit cards. That means I can go out and I can buy whatever I want. Well, you know what, when the bill comes, you way in debt.
Right. So,
having conversations, and they have to be thoughtful conversations. If you don't know, then how am I going to teach? So, my wife is essentially the chief financial officer in our household. Say
it then.
And you know what? And that's one of her responsibilities. I mean, we've had thoughtful and meaningful conversation with our children for years about some of these issues. But the only way that this is ever going to be truly to be able to bridge this significant gap is really through education. Okay, because even professional athletes who are of color, who make, Dak Prescott gonna make a $60 million. Now Dak is a bright guy, but there are a lot of young folks out there that they are gifted in one area, but they're not as gifted in some other areas.
Right.
And so now you're giving that individual, or not giving, that individual is earning a significant amount of money. But are you thinking about it, young brother or young sister, about what your life is going to be like 10 years from now?
Right.
If you got a $5 million contract, you getting $5 million this year. You don't need to spend $5 million.
Exactly.
Right.
Put yourself on a budget where you can then take, I'm going to spend 10% of this or 20% of this, and I'm going to put the rest of it away, whether it's going to be in some type of CD vehicle, or I'm going to buy property or do other things.
But I think that goes back to, once again, that you don't trust the system that we've been brought up in.
That's
right. Which is why we need to be working towards having our own. You know what I'm saying? Our own Black investment groups and things of that nature, because we don't trust the system. That's what I get.
And we do have hurdles out there, and that's what I love when you talked about education, because our hurdles are, as a small business, we can't get those loans that our counterpart. We can't get the houses at those interest rates. We can't get cars at this interest rate, but we still can do something and educate ourselves. And I think what Doc said earlier today, we're going to have to find a way to do for ourselves in the areas where it's needed.
Investing in our own Black businesses.
Correct.
Right.
Let's spend our dollars with our Black businesses and stop giving our dollars to white businesses.
Well, listen, other nationalities, that's what they do. You know what?
Right.
Their dollars are funneled back into their own community. And it's understood, that's the way that they're going to spend their dollars. We should be doing the same thing.
Right. And I know on our show, we got thousands of people listening. We appreciate y'all. Now, today is state of Black America. So that's why we're talking about it now. We love everybody, because don't y'all show up at KBOB. But what we're saying is, when you hear 45,000 versus 240,000, you need to talk. We got to talk to our kids. We got to talk to our community. We got to talk to our own, because this is our current situation as African Americans. Damali, we got some other people on. Candace Price.
Hey, Candace.
She got many
businesses.
Sister? Omaha is where she's from. Welcome to the show. Lunzel out of Missouri. Terry
Hey,
Harvey. Welcome
Terry.
to the show.
What's up,
and then
bro?
Uncle Brian had a comment. Let's read that on the live, and then we're going to jump back.
Let's see. Uncle Brian says, even though we are far behind in the wealth category, people of color have always been able to hustle back in the day. And we were entrepreneurs, but now very few know the value of a dollar. And if the world goes to hell, they will be lost.
Yep.
And then AJ says, everything I own is land. My house, truck is paid off, which gives me and my wife residual wealth, which includes our financial investments, savings, cash that is accessible, as well as investments we have done for our grandchildren, along with funds for them to attend college. Residual wealth is the way to build for yourself and your family. I do spend in Black businesses all of the time. Thank you, AJ, for that.
Can we do this, Damali? Go to each one of us to just say just one nugget that we can give the audience listening in, young or old, a decision that you just made personally that made things better for you financially and for the people around you financially. There's something you did for yourself.
Something that I did for myself is that I followed the biblical principle, right? So the biblical principle says you're supposed to take 10% of what you have and give it to the Lord, right?
Amen.
So then I was like, okay, well, we'll give the Lord 10% and I'll give myself 10%.
That's right.
I like
and so, so that way I'm not doing too much.
Right.
And I still got 80% to do whatever it is that I need to do,
right.
Yep.
whatever that is.
So what you're saying, if you get $1,000 that you're going to call the bishop or the pastor and they're going to get their 100, then you're going to get 100 to do what you want, but you're going to put up 8 to make sure you still. I like that. Doc, I'm going to go to you next. What are something you did personally, man, that just a decision that can help the audience?
Well, one thing that I think is important, and I'm going to say this is not something I'm very good at.
Yeah.
I think that every family should have a budget. Mm-hmm. And my wife, I know she's sitting there shaking her head, mainly saying, yeah, I've been talking to you about a budget for a long time. and
it be your own people.
Yeah. But you, at least if you have a budget, you have an idea of where your money's going. Now, there's always going to be things that are going to happen. But you know what? You can always have a miscellaneous fund that can be, or an emergency fund that can be for if my car breaks down and I need $1,000, I can go to that emergency fund that you're constantly paying into. But every family, and it doesn't matter how much money you make, can have a budget. And because then when you use the biblical principle, now when you take that 10% and it's your money, now that 10% can be used for investment. That 10% can be used to pour into others. You can do a variety of different things with that 10%, but at least then you know that I don't have to use that 10% to pay my bills because I know where my money is going.
I like that. Okay, you the CFO of the family now.
The Purdue family.
I know you got something
the
to
Purdue
say
Family
for the
Trust
people.
over here.
The Purdue Family Trust and scholarships and services.
Right.
So what got Jolie there? When you said, what made you say, hey, this is what I did to get myself on this path to get my husband to say, I'm going with you. Just bring me the check, bring me all the money, bring everything to my storehouse first. I'm going too far. I'm sorry. Give the people something.
I will tell you the truth. COVID was the changing moment for me.
Yeah.
I sat down since my kids had to be home and do school, I educated myself. I did a lot of stock market research, and I took a class from a gentleman named Julian Gordon on how to buy multifamily property. And that was that was my aha moment of how I could bring my husband home from work. I want him to just not have to stress. And we have residual income. We are creating a legacy for our children. And I also bought books from Dr. Boyce Watkins, for particularly my kids, but particularly my youngest, who is our entrepreneur, about educating him on how to be an entrepreneur, how to invest, but also how to save, and separate out that money. They're learning about the cost of a dollar. So education. I educated myself first and then was able to pass that on to Evan. It has been a game changer for us.
I can tell you one thing that I did that I think really helped me. One, sometimes finances can get so tough, you just want to put your head in the sand. So I'll say the thing that helped me is I'm going to take my head out the sand. And I'm just going to really look at what I got. And the first time I'm going to do is say, JB, can you put the camera on me? Because I know I'm a little, I've been in the sun a little longer. I stayed in the oven just a little bit longer before I came out. But I took my head out of the sand, and the first thing I focused on was my credit. Because like Doc said, now I didn't do that in college, but you know the credit is important.
Yes, it is.
And so what I want to do is I read something to say, man, you got to have capital or you got to have credit. The best situation is to have both. So I really started focusing on that, man, I got to get my credit over 800 because it seemed like that was a tough thing to do. And then at the same time, build my capital. So now when I sit down at the table, I feel like they would look at me a little bit differently.
Yes,
so
indeed.
I took that and I passed that down to my kids. I talked to them about credit and capital. And my daughter, she probably a secret listener. Hey, Maybelle, Greg Shaw listening. But my daughter moved here and she in her 20s, late 20s, her and her husband. And she got here and she didn't really know. But I always talk about credit and capital. Credit. And when she got here, she was just filling out all her stuff. She realized she could get a brand new home built for $250,000 at 28. She said, Dad, I didn't realize. So sometimes for your young people, listen to your parents and your grandparents or somebody around you. And then my son called me yesterday. He's getting ready to get him a new car. But that's focusing on your credit because sometimes if you get a little money, if that credit 500, it's saying something about you. You know, but just start where you are because my credit was 500 and something, but I started cleaning up little stuff. And I took my head out of the sand. I got Credit Karma, which is free, and I started disputing stuff was on old stuff. So I'm like, oh, that's not even me. I'm on my way back now. You know what I'm talking about? So some stuff wasn't me. I eased up to 600, 700, and your credit can make a 150-point jump.
Just like that.
If you get them credit cards down. To me, I think the single thing that can get your credit back is if you can just pay down your credit cards. You know. But anyway, that was my two things, trying to get my capital and my credit together.
And I'll just say this, that it is not easy because you go through seasons, you know. I mean, I can go through seasons where my savings account is like, oh yeah, I'm doing good. But then all it takes is my kids to have something go on or my cousin got something and you're like, oh man, you know, because I'm a giver. You know what I'm saying? So then it's like, oh man, then I look at my bank account, I'm like, oh, I didn't know I gave that much, you know.
They always come to you because they can count on
and they always come,
they can count on
you know, it's like I feel like I'm Damali savings and loan, you know, sometimes. But it is what it is, you know. And so I think that is just something that we have to learn how to balance because you really don't want to leave somebody out there to die, you know, when you have the ability to help. But then also understand that comes at a cost. Right. And so you just got to weigh that out, you know, and be able to figure that out. So consistency is going to be a bigger thing to make sure that we're doing
I know our time going fast. So we're going to switch gears. We're going to have to switch gears.
Yeah.
I just want to say Gregory Shaw, the developer.
Hey,
Greg, what's going on,
welcome
man?
to the show. Maybelle Wallace over Theater North.
Miss Maybelle.
She's on here. Teresa, and I read her quote. She said, families need to educate each other. If you see your family struggling, help. Drop the knowledge and let them pick it up. Just like that. All right, we got to get into our Hump Day Hot Topics.
Hump Day Hot
Topics. I know we got one. If DJ JB Smooth is ready, we're going to look
Ladies
good.
and gentlemen, the all-new KBOB 89.9 FM, Black on Black Community Radio.
And now it's time for the Hump Day Hot Topics with Charles and Damali.
Hey, guess what day it is? Hump Day! Hump Day! It's Hump Day!
Hey, Mike! It's the Hump Day Hot Topics.
I thought I was the only one that liked Mike.
We all turned up here at the table. DJ JB Smooth. Shout out to DJ JB Smooth.
Yes, indeed.
He does all our drops, our intros. He DJ in the show, so he make us look good. Even when we struggling a little bit. I don't think we struggling today, but
we doing good.
y'all gonna have to give us an extra 10 minutes because we can't drop one of these hot topics this time. So we're gonna try to hit 5 to 6 minutes on each one. Because they too hot.
They hot.
Come on.
Okay, so you guys know that we had a mayoral race a couple weeks back, and there's now going to be a runoff. And so one of the candidates thought, hey, now I want y'all to recount them votes because I think it was a little bit closer than what it was. Because, you know, in order to go to the runoff, it's the top two candidates. And so he wanted to make sure, because he was number 3, so he wanted to make sure that he did not actually have more votes than what was actually counted. So they went ahead and went about doing a recount. And the verdict came in last night. It is virtually the same.
It's the same thing.
So he paid $12,000 out of his account, and then the Tulsa community, we are paying for, taxpayers are paying about $12,000 a day for the last 4 days.
About
that it's been taken.
We have to get in there
to recount.
I understand him doing it because all of them had about 18,000 votes. And so on our flyer, we said, looking at the mayoral race, is it as black and white as it seems? We said that because Here's the thing in Tulsa. We know the history. We don't have to get into that. But it was 5 people running for mayor, 3 white males, 1 Caucasian woman, and 1 African American male.
Right.
And the African American male got the most votes.
Period.
Then the Caucasian lady and the 3 white males are left out in the cold. Now, we still love y'all now. We ain't gonna let y'all stay out there. It's
Don't
really
get
not
mad.
gonna make that cold. But when you talk about, is that meaning people looking for something different? What do you, what you think, Doc?
It's a season of change because we've seen that story before.
Yeah.
We've lived that story for the last 200 years, and we're no better off. So, having someone who maybe has a different perspective, a different life, a life mission, is not a bad thing.
Yeah,
it's not
change
a bad
is
thing.
always.
Yeah,
I think
change is
it
good.
hurts a little bit, but it's always.
And I ask you, Jolie, we live in an all-red state.
Yeah,
Oklahoma is an all-red state.
You don't
So
have to remind me.
when these results come in, what is it? Is it like somebody looking? It's the young people's in. What's going on that's making this different? Because normally in an all-red state, these will not be the
swing,
results.
yeah.
So that means everybody not telling everybody who they voting for.
Nope.
People are just saying they won't change. They want to do something
and
different.
who knows?
And they showed at the poll.
And maybe they split the vote. Maybe those 3 individuals, they split the vote. Maybe if there was only 1 Caucasian male, 1 Caucasian female, and 1 African American male, maybe it would have been a very different outcome.
Right.
And the
I
thing
guess we'll
about
find out.
and the
No,
thing
that's-
about news you can use, we'll do this. We don't tell nobody who to vote for. So that's not what our goal is. Now we want to educate you. We want to give you the platforms. We are not here to tell you who to vote for. But we'll say this as we switch gears. Now that we do have the top 2, what are you looking for a mayor in our city? Okay, he the CEO. Now you the CFO, we understand, of your house. But the mayor's the CEO of our house, Tulsa. What do you and Doc, what do you want to see in your mayoral candidate?
Really, from my standpoint, I want someone who has a breadth of knowledge that can affect everyone. I don't want someone to come in and feel like, okay, they're going to only take care of one small subset of the community and the rest of the community can fit in for themselves. And that's the way that I felt since I've been here. Which has been now 9 years.
Right.
So you listen, you know what? We've got some major issues throughout this country. We've got some major issues throughout Tulsa.
Right.
But, someone that can actually look and say, okay, well, North Tulsa has needs, South Tulsa has needs, East Tulsa has needs. Okay, we know that. Well, but that means that a little bit more time and energy needs to be spent in North Tulsa to bring up all of Tulsa.
Right.
Then they're not to be someone who feels like, okay, well, no, I have to spend the majority of my time in South Tulsa because that's where my constituency is.
Yeah,
Right.
That's my point. That's my point.
Yeah.
I want somebody that is going to spend a little more time getting all of Tulsa up to the level.
I like
and
that.
if it requires a little bit more time in one area than the other, then that's what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Damali?
I agree. Somebody who is not taking resources from one side of town to uplift the other side of town, or taking away amenities from one side of town, so that we can boost the other side of town.
They've already taken them all away. They need to start giving some back.
That's real.
Let me go to, I'm going to go to Uncle Brian said it did not used to be. It was a blue state until 1980.
Really?
Oklahoma. I didn't even know that. Did you know that, Damali?
I don't think I was too young to remember that. I did graduate in 86, so it was 1980. I was little.
About that.
Okay.
I think my thing is I'm going to look just really close at their platform.
Yeah.
I want to know what they was doing before they was running for mayor.
Yeah.
And Tulsa sometimes can seem like it's a good old boy system.
Yeah.
So sometimes you just try to maybe get out of that family tree. So sometimes the 20-year plan, you don't know who up next.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking for who going to do the best job.
I think
not
the
who's
most
supposed to be
important
up
part
next.
is those 17,000 votes got to go somewhere.
Right.
18.
18, 17, 18, yeah.
Here's the ticket.
Still a lot of votes.
Can Van Norman just endorse somebody? Because if he endorsed somebody, oh my God. Because it's like 18. So I think if he endorses somebody, so I think they on the phone with him right now. Because if he endorses one, Doc, or the other, woo, that might be it right there.
But I still say, at the end of the day, you still need to go do your research.
Let me ask you this, Damali. What you think going to happen in this race? What is
I
your
think
gut
it's going to
feeling?
be very close because I think that Monroe Nichols is a strong candidate because he has spent time in the legislature, 8 years in on the state level. That lets you know that about, something about something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, although, Karen Keith has been around for a long time, started out as a newscaster, then went to the county commissioner's office where she's been there. So she knows her way around local government here. And, so she's very well known in this space. So I think that we got two real candidates, and I think it's going to come down to what are you looking for in a candidate? And it's going to take everybody. This is a race where you cannot sit on your pockets and not go vote.
I love that.
Cannot.
I love
pivotal. If anything, this race should show people that your vote really does matter.
Absolutely.
So I hear so many people saying, well, my vote's not going to count anyway. Yes, it does.
Yes. Do you see how close it was? The top three, each one of them had 18,000 votes. Each one.
Crazy.
Let me tell y'all something, North Tulsa. Can I add a little something?
Go ahead.
A little commentary. Damali and I had the opportunity to go to some of the North Tulsa precincts to pick up ballots to take. And it's kind of like North Tulsa decided who was going to do what. That was the tilting point.
To be honest.
To be honest.
Absolutely honest.
I felt like we galvanized.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so I'm just going to add this. I think, now I'm not saying who to vote for, but I'm just looking at it. I'm looking at this thing of people want some newness. They want something different. And I just think that the thing that's probably going to benefit Monroe is riding this Kamala Harris wave of something new.
Yeah.
And
it also helps too.
I just think
it helps too that we've had the chief of police has been an African American.
Wendell Franklin.
And so, and I think that was a first. So the fact that you have someone in a position of power that has done a good job, then I think that allows people to kind of have a greater comfort level with the mayoral vote.
And one of the things that Uncle Brian says is that Monroe Nichols was chief of staff for former mayor Kathy Taylor, so he has the experience. Which I should have mentioned that before, but so I just think it's going to be a really serious. This is a really serious race. This is probably the first race with an African American in it that it's really like he has a real
shot. And the ticket, as we switch gears, I know we got to switch gears. Is this? If so, he would be the first African American mayor in Tulsa's history. So we're looking at a historical situation, y'all. So go out and vote.
Yes, make sure you get registered and go ahead and vote. All right. Another thing that happened: Miami Dolphins star receiver Tyreek Hill. Have you guys seen the video of his detainment?
Yes.
Crazy. Absolutely insane. So he was detained by the Miami-Dade Police Department. So what they're saying is that he was speeding. Okay, he drives a sports car. I had a sports car, so I kind of get it.
It's like when you start up that car, it's going to speed.
I know. It's like this. If you're in certain cars, and it's just
not saying you still got speed limits now. I'm just saying
Yeah,
certain cars.
He was detained outside of the stadium.
Right. He's on his way to the game. So he was running late. So you got to put a little more sauce on it because you're trying to get there, you know what I'm saying, to get to the game. It's football season, right? I'm trying to get there.
Nobody's denying that he was speeding.
Nobody's
I'm going to tell you something about Damali. She going to always stand in the gap for speeders because she's a speeder.
That's it.
Last week on the police report, she got 3 tickets already written out for speed. So we got to balance it out. Go ahead and speak for all speeders.
Yes.
Y'all run late. So what y'all do? Y'all run.
If you're running a little late, your car got the juice, right? So it's like, let's go ahead and hit it.
But we are saying, please abide by all
the
signs.
Yes.
Legal.
Yeah.
You know what? What I'm gonna do is, okay, if you're speeding, you need to be pulled over. Right. I have absolutely no problem with that.
Okay. So
none
he
whatsoever.
gets pulled over. Okay. And now let me say, this ain't a regular car.
Right. No, it's a McLaren.
This is not a regular car, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So you got to be careful how you handle my baby.
Let me do this. Can I ask this?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say,
Jolie, y'all don't have regular cars. So if somebody bam on y'all window, what y'all gonna do, California?
Attitude.
Just go ahead real quick. Or somebody bam. Now you can knock, but if somebody boom, like you gonna break my window, just
no, you can't. You don't put your hands.
Look at Jolie.
No, I'm just trying to help Americans understand.
Okay.
I'm just saying, we ain't mad about the ticket. We not mad about this.
No.
We're just saying, come on, where's
don't
the
do my
common
window
courtesy?
like that. No,
not on
do
your
that.
queen like that.
Don't do
Damali,
that.
come on, Lee.
So we have this egregious tapping on the window, right? So when you gonna catch some attitude, just a little bit. I'm still gonna be respectful. I'm like, yo,
right?
Why are you hitting my window like that?
Let me tell you something right now. I had an old 1977 LTD2 with bucket seats back in the day that I only paid $1,400 for.
Yes,
with my saw blades,
but it was clean.
With the with the acoustic amp and all of that, with the air freshener up, with the soft stuff around the tail wheel. I wouldn't let you tap on that window worth
Okay.
$2
Right.
like that. I'm just trying to help people. We
I'm
talking about the
just saying.
state of African Americans.
Okay.
We ain't mad at nobody, but you can't hit our window like
cannot
that.
do that.
So just because who he was supposed to receive special treatment? Just
No
'cause
special treatment.
just 'cause he had a
you
nice
We
shouldn't
ain't
do
said nothing about no
nobody.
special
Did you
treatment.
just hear what he said? What
We
year
don't
was your
have no-
car? What year was
A
your car?
1977 LTD2, longer than KBOB bucket. But I was rolling, Doc.
So
I was
it was all
rolling.
about
It was all about the way you do
disrespect.
it. The
It's
disrespect.
But here's the thing: do you think he would have knocked on a white man's window?
Probably
like
not.
that? Thank you.
In the
Well,
no.
I've never seen it.
And I don't care what he was driving.
Yeah,
He
don't matter.
It wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Well, listen, you know what? I'm a 50-ish plus year old man.
Mm-hmm.
But you
And-
looking good.
There you go.
That's teamwork.
Disclaimer.
And you know, to this day, that I can be driving my car, and if a police officer pulls up behind me, that my heart skips a beat.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I will slow my speed down.
Yeah.
I will make
Even
sure
if you're not speeding.
Yeah.
even if I'm not speeding.
Right.
And so, in our community, that's what we do. Now, Tariq could have. They made it sound like he left the guy standing at the window for a long period of time without rolling his window down, and I don't know if that's
I
factual
saw the
or not.
video, so that's
Yeah,
different.
Yeah,
that's not
yeah.
true.
But
anyway.
what it comes down to is the fact that the way that he was handled was absolutely ridiculous.
Yes.
And if that police officer has a job, after this, then that's a travesty, and that says something about the Miami-Dade Police Department.
But see, this is the thing that we have been saying, meaning the African American community has been saying about policing across the
Yes.
entire nation,
Yes.
right? This is how we are treated. So then when you come along and say, oh, well, y'all are disrespectful to the police. No, you give me attitude first.
Mhm.
So
You
you
know-
saying it was borderline like Rodney King activities going on?
No, it wasn't
No,
that
I'm
strong.
not going to say it was
Yeah.
that,
But
egregious.
what
but
I'm saying is that I'm just going back to police officers are supposed to protect and serve.
Yeah.
Yes.
All I'm saying
They're
is
supposed to de-escalate.
I'm just saying
Right.
if
No,
this
don't
is,
escalate.
Yeah.
I'm just
De-escalate.
saying the reality is this is the state of African American. If that's Tom Brady,
No.
you know,
go on
He's asking
and
for
get
an
in there and
autograph.
get to the game.
Yeah,
he's asking for
exactly.
autograph.
Yeah,
if that's,
yeah.
if that's
Yeah.
Brett
They would have
Favre,
been like, oh, my bad.
Hey,
sir.
they
I'm
may have
sorry.
given him a police
You know,
escort
so
into the
they-
facility.
exactly.
they'd have took him on.
Let me give you a police escort.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And this is what Tariq said, and he bammed on his window. So he's saying, "Why are you trying to break my window?" That's really was his only thing. He don't have no weapon. He's not being aggressive. He's not doing anything. He's like, "Man, you finna break? Can you pay for this?" And so he was like, "Give me my ticket. Just go and give me my
Just give my
ticket so I
ticket
can
so I
go
can
on
go.
because I'm about
I'm
to get ready
late.
to play in the game."
Like, yes.
But to me, it seemed like the officers was all about control.
Exactly.
You do what I tell you to do, and I
Get out
said
the
to-
car.
So
Yeah.
it wasn't even about protecting, serving, having any kind of like Lieutenant Sanders, like none of that discretion, JB Smooth. It was all aggression.
Yep.
It's all about
And
You
power
those are the
control.
officers that we do not need on a police force
See, I didn't
anywhere.
see that.
Period.
Oh,
I only
yeah.
saw the part where they already had him out on the ground.
Oh, they snatched
Oh,
him
they
out.
snatched him
and
out,
threw
and then
him
they tried,
down,
grab
and
him.
grabbed him and put
And
his
he's like,
knee-
I just had knee surgery,
Yeah.
you know, and he
Hey,
jumped on his back,
And listen, and Calais Campbell, who's 6'7"
Oh
and
my
weighs
God.
300 pounds,
Yes.
got out of this car to mainly to try
To
to
try to-
de-escalate it, and he got handcuffed.
and he
It's
got
like, yeah,
handcuffed.
exactly, and he wasn't. All he was just saying, hey, you know, we're football players. You know,
Yeah.
we're trying to get into the stadium now.
Yeah, what
Next
do
thing you know, he gets handcuffed.
I know you, and I saw that whole thing, and he was like, "Man, this is my friend." And you know, state of Black America, we can get. You know what happened in Minnesota?
Yeah.
I mean, things get real
Yeah.
crazy with us. We die
Yes.
from simple stuff.
Exactly.
So when your friend is down, we can't walk away and say, "Officer, you're doing a great job."
Right.
We can't do that.
No.
So you done slammed. You got your knee on his
Yeah.
back, and
Yeah,
you
you doing
being
all this-
real rough. So I got to stay here to make sure my friend make it.
That's Florida too.
Here's the
But-
bottom line, though. Damali, what happens if that's not Tariq Hill? What if that's late at night and he's not Tariq Hill?
Exactly.
What if
Yeah,
he's not
then,
an NFL star?
exactly.
What if he's
Yes.
not who he is?
Mhm.
Yep.
So you know the phone calls was coming in hot.
Yeah.
Yes, and you don't have all the side bystanders
With cameras and
all the
stuff.
things.
But you know what? And this is the thing. They didn't even care. They
sure
didn't even
don't.
They was
care that
still-
there are cameras and
No,
people
they
are
sure
recording.
don't.
They did not care.
No.
Because I saw initially when I saw the video, it was from somebody on
Yes,
Instagram.
yes,
Yep.
yes.
So I saw the body cam footage, later, but initially it was for somebody on Instagram, and they saw the people recording, and they didn't even care. They're
Let's-
still,
let's-
but this is how we're treated. in America.
Because they
right?
think they can.
Because they can. And in my opinion, every last one of those officers need to be fired.
And that's what
Period.
Uncle Brian
They
said.
need to
Nobody
be
stepped
fired.
in.
Listen,
Nobody stepped
Uncle
That's
Brian
one of the
said
reasons
the football
why
team
we
has
live
requested that.
12 years less.
Uh-huh.
Stuff like
Because of the angst, anxiety,
Yeah.
frustration, fear, stress, all of those things that go on a daily basis
Right.
over issues like that.
Yeah.
You walk into certain grocery stores, people will literally follow you around the grocery store. So what do you think? I'm just going to be, putting apples and bananas in my pocket?
All my-
Yeah.
So other nationalities don't typically have to deal with stuff like that. So when you're carrying that burden, it will absolutely affect your mental health,
pressure.
Yeah.
your physical health,
Mhm.
as well as your financial health.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you're at a football stadium, you know this man is rushing, you know what's going on.
Yeah.
That's where I asked Lieutenant Sanders, where your discretion?
Mhm.
Your discretion says, come on, big dog, slow down, man.
Yeah,
I know you
right.
got to play in the big game and all that.
Yeah.
Hey, or big dog, you going way too fast. I got to give you a
Yeah,
little ticket, but
yeah.
but I'm not
good
going
luck
to
in the
take you
game.
and slam
Yeah.
you and do. I'm not going to treat
Snatch
you
you out of
like
your
trash.
car.
in your
And
face.
that's crazy.
So that's really what we're saying. I know we got to
Yeah.
switch gears because this
Yeah.
next topic might get even
Yeah.
hotter. But
Yeah.
Uncle Brian said the football team has asked for the officers to all be fired, and I think
And they
should.
They
should.
should.
Just to set the example, because
Yeah.
they were trying to
Yeah, but
set
you know
the wrong
something?
example.
Okay. But the football players won't have anything to do with that.
Mhm.
If the owner
Mhm.
is the one who comes out and says he
They're
wants them
gone.
fired, they're gone.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And those players make far, far more money than any of those police officers do.
Mhm.
Right.
But if their white owner is the one who says that I want them fired,
They
they'll
fired.
get fired.
Yeah.
He did speak up and say that some high officials on the team came forward in his defense, so they're working on something.
But we'll
Yeah.
see.
We'll
see.
see.
We'll
We're
follow
going
that
to be
story.
watching.
Yeah.
For
What's
sure.
our last hot topic? 'Cause we-
All right, y'all. This debate last night.
You should
Look,
have started
Yeah,
with
yeah,
that.
you should, yeah.
There it is.
Yeah,
Boom.
there you go.
This debate last night. First of all,
I
I've been
drink
waiting
some
for
water.
it. First of all, I have absolutely been waiting for it because I just knew. So what happened? Because I knew that what happened with Biden and Trump was not going to happen.
That wasn't gonna
with
work.
Kamala.
No.
It was not going to happen with the vice president.
No, ma'am.
So I was waiting for it. But how about I was, and I wasn't shocked because, but it was just so blatant, from the beginning when she walks out, the handshake.
Yes.
I'm like, bro,
Right
you
off the
can't
top.
even just shake her
No,
hand. I mean, I'm like, come
exactly.
on.
Didn't even look at her
Didn't
all night.
Right.
Not once.
Not once.
Yes.
That's so
Ah,
disrespectful.
Jeremiah.
Come on, Doc. Give a
Blackwood.
male perspective. They done already fired off and they firing shots because they there for their sister.
Well, listen. Listen, you know what it comes down to is that I don't believe that Trump respects Vice President
No.
Harris.
Wow.
And I think he doesn't respect her because of her color,
Mhm.
and I don't think he respects her because she's a female.
Absolutely.
Because he has never shown any ability to be civil or to conduct himself in a respectful fashion around women in general.
That's right.
So I think he devalues women,
Mhm.
and then to have one that can actually run rings around you as far as communication and putting you on point. You know what? I think last night he must have changed about 3 or 4 shades more orange than he already
Yes.
is because
Right.
he was hot.
Mhm.
He was
Yeah.
too hot.
Yeah, he
Now,
was hot.
Second part to that question: do you own any dogs or cats?
What's up with the dogs and cats?
Do
Bro, you didn't
own
watch
any
the-
dogs or cats?
You didn't watch the debate? Oh my
So
God.
he's more or less saying that illegal aliens are coming across the border and they're eating people's
They're
dogs
eating
and cats.
people's pets.
Oh my
Yeah.
god!
in Springfield, Ohio.
Yeah.
Oh, if you
In
know what?
Springfield, Ohio.
Let's just say that if anybody didn't watch the debate, you gotta go
Yeah.
and watch the debate.
Just for
Well, I'm going to be
yeah,
honest with you. My wife watched it from pillar to post.
I did
I,
too.
I had to watch segments.
Oh my gosh, she gets so
And the
angry.
reason
Already know.
and the reason why, yeah, because it's frustrating. It makes you angry that we are in the year 2024,
Yes.
where we have AI and we have all of these fantastic technological advances, and we're doing things from a medical standpoint that are amazing. And we have some of the people that we have that are supposed to be representing our interests, who will more or less look in your face and say, "I don't give a damn about your interests. I have my only interest in mind."
And yeah.
And then
it's
you're going to
me.
find people that are going to say, "Hey, but I'll vote for you for that."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of my friends that were on Facebook, so we kind of had this whole Facebook.
Facebook was on
Facebook
fire.
was just going nuts, right? And some of them were just the same thing that you're saying, Dr. Perdue. It's like, I got to watch this in bits and pieces because I'm getting so upset and so angry about the rhetoric and the lies that are being spewed.
I just had to laugh sometimes at the stuff that would come out of his mouth.
Yeah. And let me say this, because like we say on News You Can Use, we don't tell you who to vote for or any of that. We just want to educate you. But at the end of the day, and this is not, I understand that politics are politics, right? Nobody can do 100% of anything they think they want to do, because you still in this situation, you still have the House and the representative, the Senate, that are in control, if you will. So you can present whatever it is you want, but it's still got to go through them, and depending on how many of who is there, then that's going to determine whether or not your bill gets through. So you can have all the best laid plans in the world, but at the end of the day, there's still a system, right?
Go
that
back
you
and
have
watch
to get
your
through.
Schoolhouse Rocks, people.
Exactly.
Let's do this. We're going to go to the live. When we come back, your biggest takeaway from last night.
Ooh.
Just your biggest takeaway. Because we ain't got much longer to be on the air.
Okay.
But I'm going to go to the live first. Jeremiah Blackwell out of Mississippi only want to know about are the cats and dogs. That's all he want to know. Uganda has tuned in. Teddy said all she want to know,
Teddy.
In America, if I come, can I bring pets?
A bad name.
A bad name. Way in Uganda. Shout out to you, Teddy. Your dog and cat, I'm assuming are safe here because I haven't seen no barbecue sauce. So no, your two dogs. All the dogs I know and cats are safe. Brian Dorian, Uncle Brian, said the prosecutor sent the criminal to school.
Ooh,
that's his quote of the day.
Yep.
I'm going to leave that right there.
That's good.
AJ out of the J-Bone Lounge in Jacksonville, Arkansas, said she blasted him every round, and currently running for round 2. And we're going to come back to our question because we don't got long. Love y'all on the live. Thanks. Click share on this because we talked about some good stuff, even though we having fun.
MSNBC's quotable says she spanked his...
That's it.
MSNBC
just like that.
MSNBC of all people.
Who want to go first? We'll do this. It's 4 of us. We go first. We going first. Come on, Damali.
So are we going to break or no?
We're not taking no break.
We only got 5 more minutes. Okay, 5 more minutes. So what I took away from the debate last night was, first of all, I saw a candidate who looked presidential. Okay. Somebody that I felt like would be someone who would bring our country together and try to work with other nations to bring our, the world together is what I saw. I saw someone who was strategically trying to frame and fix, or come up with a plan to fix, what's going on with our country is what I saw. Now, still need to do the research because I want to know what your plan is. Right. What does your plan look like? Right. But for me, just going on appearances alone, Kamala Harris, to me, looked presidential. Yeah.
I agree.
She looked like the person that I would want to represent me and stand before other nations to speak on my behalf.
That's your takeaway. We got to punt the ball. It's like tennis. Which one of y'all gonna hit it back?
You got the sister's turn.
I'll take it since
okay.
I'm piggyback off, but I concur with what you said.
Yeah.
Not only did she present herself as someone whom I would want to represent myself or my country, because having traveled when he was in office, it was an embarrassment to other countries. They would look at me and ask, How could you vote?
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't. Yeah. Trust me, I did not. It was embarrassing.
Yeah.
But she represented herself as someone who can think on her feet and is smart enough to know to put people around her where her shortcomings are. She will put people around her who those are their strengths. Yes. I feel like this is my opinion, I feel like he is so pompous and self-absorbed that he can't admit that he doesn't know anything and wouldn't look to others who he would perceive as smarter than him.
He didn't do that during his 4 years as president.
No, he didn't. And so he would run us in the ground based on not having to look insufficient or inferior in any way, but in every way he is. than to go to someone who knows more to be able to continue to do good for this country. But he really, I don't even think he has a capability of doing right for this country. But anyway,
can I ask a question too that I want to point out? I know that we only have 5 minutes.
We gotta go.
I know
you already did yours. We got to go to the doc.
Okay.
I'm going to be fast. We saw in Vice President Harris, we saw the future. If you look at the last 2 minutes, each of them in what they said, she said, "I'm looking towards the future. I want to empower the middle class, where the majority of African Americans lie, middle class and the lower class. I want to make sure that there is tax breaks for entrepreneurship, which is another way to bring dollars into the Black community as well as other minority communities. She wants to galvanize people. Okay, then you look at President Trump, former President Trump, and all he talked about was the past. He never said anything about a plan. All he did was denigrate everybody else and denigrate, Biden and Harris for the things that they did, not talking about the fact that they did a whole lot of cleaning up of the garbage that he left behind. That it took them 2-3 years to actually get a hold on. So really, it's the future is Vice President Harris, and the past is Trump.
Yeah,
I'll say that's a great take, and that's a great take, and that's a great take. I would say my biggest takeaway is I think America wants to really know if she was presidential. She's been the vice president, and I must admit, as the vice president, I'm like, man, she's not as visible.
No, but no VP is. I mean, and I think presidents do that on purpose, because if the VP is out there as much as the president, next thing you know, the people are going to say, well, we would rather have the VP and then have the president. And then I can do that.
Help the president.
Support.
Put out their mission.
Right. But I would say that it seemed like Pence was a lot more visible the first round with Trump, if you think about it.
Because he needed to be, because Trump was not because Trump was not sitting down in those long, 2, 3, 4, 5 hour meetings. He wasn't doing that. They had to scale everything down because his attention span was so short that they literally had to scale things down to 15 to 20 minute talks.
Ain't that what happened in the first 4 years though of his office?
Absolutely.
And so I'll say my greatest takeaway is Trump has been president before. And so how did that go? You know what I mean? And I think that, so when it's time for them to debate, in my mind, it seemed like he should have been much more prepared, because you have actually already been the president. So I feel like he was very unprepared. That's number one. And I think she produced facts. You might have to go check some of those things, but I feel like she represented herself very well. She prepared. And I feel like she showed calmness, poise. I felt like she answered the questions. I felt like he never would even answer any of the questions. So I don't really know where he stands. And my last, and I say my last piece of that is when he was constantly saying she didn't have no policy, she didn't do this, it was just fight and all of that. When they finally nailed him down and asked him, well, what is your policy and your plan? He said he had concepts of a plan. And to me, that was the like, what? Now, this whole night, you've been saying you don't know this, you don't have this. What she didn't have, and when he got nailed down, not a plan, concepts. And we 56 days away from, 55 now, and you got concepts? She had a plan. Now, you just got to look into it. Again, we're not telling y'all who to vote for. We got a few thousand on. We're just giving information. Damali, you want to do your question around the world? Because I don't want you mad at me.
No, I was just gonna, and I think Dr. Perdue kind of hit on it. That I want a president who does not denigrate our country.
Right.
He just kept saying how bad it was and how we got robbers and we got murderers and all this. And I'm like, where is he talking about?
Exactly.
I don't live in that
It sounds like the movie The Purge.
Exactly.
So if you're looking out your window trying to figure out if somebody's gonna come down my street wearing a hockey mask and an axe.
It made me feel like he was trying to just drive fear. Let me in because I'm gonna make the boogeyman go away.
That is his primary. That is his primary concept.
I don't think people going for that. And you got to remember too, when you got over 200 Republicans switch. To me, that said a lot. When Dick Cheney came out, former vice president, I was like,
and listen, and
Taylor Swift
and VP Harris has come out and said, you know what, I would be looking to put some Republicans in my cabinet because nothing gets done unless you have bipartisanship.
Exactly.
And we have been in a steady state of one faction versus the other probably since Clinton. I think Clinton was really the last president that kind of galvanized people enough. Right.
Yeah.
So I think that she killed it. And the fact that she came out literally within an hour and said, I'm ready for the second debate, there's no way that he's going to debate her second.
Oh, he already said no. I don't,
No,
he's not going to do that.
All right, Black History Trivia question.
All right, Black
That was a
History
great
Trivia.
segment. Great segment.
All right, here we go. Black History Trivia. The question is, what African-American group cared for tuberculosis patients at Seaview Hospital in New York from 1928 to 1960? Was it A, the Black Angels? Was it B, the National Black
Hold on,
Nurse?
let me get JB to put the camera on this. I know. Try to keep you in a good light.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Was it B, the National Black Nurses Association? Was it C, the Peace of Mind Corps? Or was it D, the Army Nurses Corps?
And the answers that we got are Uncle Brian said A.
Uncle Brian and JB.
And JB said A.
Mm-hmm.
Charles, Jeremiah, AJ, Dr. Ferdu, we all said B.
B. Mm-hmm.
Michael said C. Do you have an answer?
Yes.
You want to give it a shot?
I'm gonna go with who were the Black Angels? Was that A, B, or C?
A.
That was A.
A.
Okay. And who was the Black Nurses?
B.
B.
The National Black Nurse Association.
I'm gonna go with B. Was that in New York? You said?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
AJ
Okay,
said
I'm
B.
gonna I'm gonna go with B.
Uncle Brian said, "Told you, Charles. I don't know what he on. I just don't want to run into the streets.
Listen,
I'm gonna meet you at Max Wings, Uncle
I
Brian.
might have got this one wrong.
What's the answer?
So the answer is, if you said A, the Black Angels, you are correct.
I was gonna go with the
Yes.
Go with your first mind, huh?
I know. I should
That-
You did, and you said it.
You said it?
Yes.
You was all the way in there too.
Yes.
You said what's the name?
So
I'll
the
let my husband make the change.
Right. So the Black Angels were a group of young women that actually took care of tuberculosis patients because the white nurses were afraid
Thank you.
Wow.
to actually
Angels.
take care. Yeah. So
Black
they actually took
Angels.
care of the tuberculosis patients during that time.
That makes sense.
I guess
That
right.
makes sense.
Oh yeah, because
Yeah.
Good job, Uncle Brian.
Good job, Uncle Brown.
yeah.
JB, give us some music. We finna steamroll through these upcoming events. You want to know what's going on in our
Man.
city? We're gonna hit these, do some birthday shout outs, and we're gonna get out of here.
All right, we ready? All right. Upcoming events. If you don't know about the parlay events that are happening this weekend, then you need to go and check them out and look them up. You go to JAG Tulsa.org. If you know Jericho Wortham,
Man,
right here going to be a cookout that's going to happen at B.S. Roberts Park at 901 North Greenwood Avenue on September 15th at 4:00 p.m. It is a free event. There's going to be Parlay Wellness that's going to happen at 101 East Archer Street on September 16th. There's also going to be a Parlay Night of Dance at the Tulsa Performing Arts Center, which is located at 110 East 2nd Street on September 17th at 6:30 p.m. There's also going to be a Parlay Fashion Show that's going to take place on Greenwood on September 21st at 6:30 p.m. And then, of course, the Soiree on Greenwood. That event is by invite only. We actually were able to go there last year. Well, they blocked off Greenwood. There's a table down the middle. We all ate as a family, all dressed in black. We had a phenomenal time. So that's going to take place on September 22nd at 6:30 p.m. For anybody who would like to have tickets, the tickets are limited. They only have a few community tickets. It's invitation only. And you can get those by attending any of the other events that I have already named. So you can go to JAG Tulsa, JAG Tulsa.com. No, I'm sorry, .org, and go ahead and find out what events are happening and go to some of those events. All of the events are free and they're in different sectors of town, but it's to coincide with the 918 Festival Days that's going to be happening, celebrating Tulsa's art and culture. But this is our twist on it. Okay. So, you guys go out and participate in that. It's going to be a great time. Hopefully we'll be able to hit some of those and be able to bring pictures to you so you can see what's going on. Lacey Park at 2134 North Madison Place is going to be offering a free finance class. It's going to happen on September 17th from 6:00 p.m. to 7:00 p.m. The theme on this one is understanding credit and how to manage debts.
Hey,
what we were just
right,
talking
we were
about.
You just said it.
Yes.
Get to Lacey Park.
Yes.
Exactly.
Get to Lacey
So
Park.
go to tulsaparks.recdesk.com in order to pre-register. And then World One for Christ is having their 30, 40, 60 anniversary. It's going to be October the 4th through the 6th. This event celebrates 30 years of marriage. 30 years of ministering for Bishop Melvin Cooper and First Lady Joyce Cooper, 40 years of marriage, and Bishop is turning 60 this year.
Shout out to the bishop.
Yeah, so for more information, you can go to the church social media page at World One for Christ. And then, of course, we're going to plug the 918 Day Festival that's going to be celebrating the Tulsa arts and culture downtown. It's going to be September the 18th from 5 to 9, located at 600 South Main. You can go to downtowntulsa.com for more information. All right, we're going to hit these birthdays really quick. September 12th, Janetti Marshall, Kiore Taylor, and Jess Eddie are having birthdays.
Happy birthday.
Clement Rowe is going to have a birthday on September 13th.
That's my guy. Happy birthday.
Aaron Wiggum over at New U is going to have a birthday on September 14th.
What? Happy birthday. My little sister's birthday is coming up on the 15th. That's on Sunday. My youngest sister.
Yes. And Noelle Gordine is going to be having a birthday on September 16th.
Just like that.
And our baby girl had a birthday on September 6th.
September 6th?
Yeah.
Happy birthday to your baby girl.
Yes.
Teresa said Floyd, Pooh, Elliott, 912. Arlene is 914. Happy birthday to
I think I said Arlene last week. Yeah. So, okay. So if you want to get with us, you can hit us up on any of our social media platforms. You can hit us up on World One Development, EduRec Youth and Family Fund Center, 36th Street North Event Center, or fitting back in Prison Reentry.
Final thoughts to our special guest. You know, you're not a special guest. This is your show. And you still got 2,000 or 3,000 people on here. So give the people your final thoughts.
We are living in interesting and challenging times, but God has a plan. Continue to stay prayerful. Get out and vote. Vote means the world to all of us. And you know what? We just have to keep holding each other up, banding each other up, leaning into each other. And we as a community, we will be better, and we can get better.
Stay in prayer and tune in to our Community Our Health.
Come on
the last Friday of every month from 12 to 1.
Just like that. JB Smooth.
What up? Hey, how y'all doing?
Final thoughts,
man. You know what? Just don't forget to count your blessings.
Yeah.
Just
Amen.
like that.
Amen.
All right, Cameron Damali. I'm trying to look out for us.
Final thought is, you guys, we're at a very pivotal point right now.
Right.
Your voice matters. You absolutely need to go and vote. Go get registered. November 5th is coming up pretty quick.
Yeah.
And so we want to make sure that our voices count, and we want to make sure that we get somebody in who is representing the people.
Yeah.
Amen.
My final thought is love more and hate less.
I
Amen.
like it.
And with that being said, please consider donating to Eating Ministry Service to help our community radio continue to stay on the air. You can send your cash donation made payable to Eating Ministry Service to 1216 North Lansing Avenue. Sweet D, we moved up a little bit, y'all. Tulsa, Oklahoma, 74106. This has been News You Can Use with your host, Mr. Charles Harper, and
This is Damali Wilson.
and we are live every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. So make sure you tune in. Doc, you hit a home run today, man.
Yes, good job. Good
you
job.
and your co-hosts.
Mhm.
It's a medical
Yes.
report,
It was
y'all.
more my co-host.
And you guys make sure that you tune in to NYCU.FM where we play today's R&B and throwback hits. We all have a show on that
Right, all
platform.
right.
So, you guys want to make sure you tune in.
Just like that.
It's on you, bro.
Oh, it's on me? That's my cue. Hey,
I'm like, hey, what are you doing?
that's my cue right there. So if you'd like to advertise or promote your events or business on this show, inbox us on Facebook at World One Development. Of course, you can always come hang out with me and Damali and Charles if you want to. This has been World One Development's News You Can Use with the fabulous Damali Wilson, Charles Harper, special guest Dr. Andre Perdue, and his lovely wife, Jolie. Thank you guys for being here today. The views, thoughts, and opinions of this program belong solely to the host and of the guests, and not necessarily to this station, organization, committee, or other groups or individuals associated with KBOB 89.9. Black on Black Community Radio, Eden Media Services, News You Can Use, NYCU.FM, or World One Development. Y'all have a great day. Peace. Anything else, guys?
Jeremiah
Love
says, protect all your pets from MAGA.
Hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your cats, and your
Protect them Saints fans this weekend, Lord.
dogs. The Cowboys are coming. Love y'all.
All right, have a good one, y'all.
Much love, y'all. Much love.